How many football Fridays are we going to be saying no football, and now all of a sudden it is football, and we got teams reporting to training camp? I mean, pretty soon it's going to be actual football games being played on the weekends and on Thursdays and Fridays because of the exhibition season. That's going to be starting up in like about 3 weeks. And today the 49ers reported. Yesterday the Seahawks reported. Incredible. We're right here. We are right here, and I appreciate each and every single one of you being here. Hit that like button. Super chats go to the top. And Kim, I can't appreciate you enough. And anything you need, Kim, you let me know. I know you're taking those classes for sports journalism. You just let me know what you need, and we'll hook you up there. Oh, and by the way, hey, Kim, sports journalism 101. So NBC and CBS and ABC decided not to air the president's speech last night. Whether you like Trump or not, Kim, you're there to report the news, not your political agendas. Whether you hate the guy or not. So what? Those news networks now get to pick and choose what you, the American viewer and voter, gets to listen to. That's called state TV. Whether you like the guy or not, again, and I'm not here shilling for anybody. I'm here talking about journalism. That's not journalism. That's state TV. That's state TV, man. Hey, you don't have to believe anything the guy says. You don't. As a matter of fact, some of the shit is bullshit. But you can't be picking and choosing as a news network what to give your viewers and call yourself a journalistic news source. It's absurd. My Still, who is stopping the run, JD, is a great run stopper. Consistent, and N'Kobe was, but Carter isn't consistent. That's why they paid Davis the $26 million. We're going to get to a little bit on Jalen Carter here in a minute. Suave, thank you so much. You have been one of the most consistent people like Kim talks, and we appreciate it. That's exactly what it is. Hey, whether it's good or bad or phony intel or whatever, that's not your job to pick and choose what you listen to and call yourself a journalist. See, I'm not a journalist. So I pick and choose what we talk about. And then you guys add in. But I don't call myself a journalist. It's ridiculous. You can't call yourself a journalist and censor people in politics. Whether that guy's right or wrong, it's the American public that decides on November or in November who they're going to go with, not what you want them to go with. It's absurd, man. Okay? I mean, hey, get this. All you got to do is remember. You talk about censorship. We talk about it with what the Eagles do. The Eagles put out their bullshit. Hey, look at Marsh. Marsh checks me all the time. He checks me all the time. That's bullshit, Sills. It's not Hurts. It's the coach. And he knows where I'm at, and I know where he's at. But you know what we do here? We agree to disagree. That's called dialogue, conversation. I say something, Marshall goes, that's cool, that's bullshit. That's called freedom of speech and freedom of the press. I mean, absolutely. You don't get to pick and choose. Let the American people pick and choose in November. Whether you're going to do this or that guy or this guy. I mean, it's absurd to sit there and see that a news outlet controls the narrative. That doesn't make sense to me, man. All right. Look, I said this, and I'm going to say it one more time, that this is going to be one of the most compelling years. Since I've been covering your Eagles, this is going to be one of the most compelling years I've ever seen. There are more questions going in. Hey, Here's the biggest question. You know what? You know what used to be a non-starter when it came to conversations about the Eagles? Was about your offensive line. If your offensive line is a conversation, okay? If your off season and you have a conversation on whether or not your offensive line is going to be good, everything's on the table. Every single thing will be on the table. How good your quarterback plays, how good Barkley plays, how good your defense will be. The staple of the Eagles was your offensive line. That's a question mark going into 26. It is a big-time question, right? All right. So I want to start first and foremost with Mekhi Lemon. How many people believe that Mekhi Lemon is going to duplicate? Let's see what our friend did here. Let's see this. How many people believe that Mekhi Lemon is going to put up 64 catches, 916 yards, and 5 touchdowns at 14.3 yards per catch? That's Devontae Smith's rookie year. How many people believe that Devontae, his rookie year, Mekhi Lemon, is going to put those kind of numbers up? No. Okay? Sills, Max says Malott is better than Wirfs. Do you agree? Absolutely not. Christian Wirfs has been all-pro at right tackle, guard, and left tackle. I mean, no, he is not. And by the way, right tackle, guard, and left tackle. Tristan Wirfs has been an all-pro at. Give me a break. Shit, not even Smitty. Okay, maybe. That could be. So, no. 40 to 50, 500, 600, and 5 touchdowns would be a good output with this new offense. Lemon will be offensive rookie of the year. Okay? Different role, pedigree. And is the number 2 and 3. Smitty was a number 1 in 21. Okay? Wirfs really played those 3 positions already. Let me double check that. Did Tristan Wirfs make Pro Bowl at right tackle and guard and left tackle? Tristan Wirfs has made 5 consecutive, not guard. He made 5 consecutive Pro Bowls, and he split his time between right tackle and left tackle in Tampa. Right tackle, he made the Pro Bowl in 21, 22, and in 23, 24, and 25, he's made Pro Bowl at left tackle. So he has made the Pro Bowl at right and left in Tampa. Smitty's going to have a huge year because Hurts doesn't know how to spread the ball around. Okay, so I want to ask you something here. How many people believe that they signed and they drafted a really good player? That he's a really great player. Mekhi Lemon. Sills, to be fair, you said all pro, but I did. My mistake. Pro Bowl. My mistake. Reyes says you signed a great player. Okay? And you drafted too early to tell. Okay? A role player. Rasputin thinks he's going to be an okay player. Let's see here. Smitty, last time Smitty was by himself, they had to go get him help. That's a great take. So I wrote this list down. You tell me what you think of Howie Roseman at the wide receiver position. Since taking over as general manager for the Philadelphia Eagles in 2010, Howie Roseman has drafted 11 wide receivers, and here they are. Devontae Smith, Jalen Reagor, Jordan Matthews, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, Josh Huff, Quez Watkins, Mac Hollins, Riley Cooper, Marvin McNutt, Johnny Wilson, and Ainias Smith. What do you make of that group? What do you make of that group with Howie? What do you make of that group? Read it again. Here's the list of receivers that Howie Roseman, since taking over as general manager in 2010 with the little respite in the middle there with Chip, here's what he's done at wide receiver. Devontae Smith, Jalen Reagor, Jordan Matthews, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, Josh Huff, Quez Watkins. Quez is not that bad a pick. He was a 6th rounder and contributed. Mac Hollins, Riley Cooper, Marvin McNutt, Johnny Wilson, and Ainias Smith. What do you make of that group? Give me a grade on it. Give me a grade on his ability to draft wideouts. What do you think? How many were first rounders? Good take. 2. Devontae Smith and Jalen Reagor. 2 second rounders. Jordan Matthews and JJ. 1 third rounder, Josh Huff. The rest have been 4, 5, and 6. You give that a B-? That's all you need to know right there. A B-. He gave this group a B-. Devontae Smith, Jalen Reagor, Jordan Matthews, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, Josh Huff, Quez Watkins, Mac Hollins, Riley Cooper, Marvin McNutt, Johnny Wilson, and Ainias Smith. He gave him a B. I mean, I think if anything, that's a C-plus group. He's been a little above average. And the only reason that you're above average is because Devontae has hit. As good as Devontae has hit, Reagor's been a complete bust. So that kind of equals each other out there. As good as Smith is, Reagor's is bad. I mean, he's just as bad. I'm dead ass serious. This year, buddy, shit's changed. You better adjust. Okay? Let's see. Matthews wasn't a bust. Let's take a look at that for a 3rd round draft choice. Let's see. What did he say? He said that Matthews wasn't a bust. He was a 2nd rounder. Jordan Matthews for a 2nd rounder. By the way, 2nd rounder, Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, A.J. Brown. So what did he say? He said that who wasn't a bust? Matthews. Jordan Matthews wasn't a bust. Let's see. For a 2nd rounder, 67 catches, 872, 85 catches for 997, 73, 804. Pretty good 3 years for a second-round draft choice. Then after that, 282, 333, and really by the time he got to his fourth year, he was finished. When they moved him, so not awful. That's above average. That's not awful. But again, 3 years of football for a second-round draft choice, not bad. Okay? I did. Didn't you vote for Lemon for the Biletnikoff? I did. College awards don't mean anything for the pros. They're college awards. Sills, I even give Howie a D at wide receiver, but should make up for it with free agency. I'm not talking about free agency acquisitions, Jimbo. I'm talking about how do you think he's drafted? He got Lemon in the draft. Did he not? He didn't get Lemon via free agency. He got it in the draft. I think the Eagles as an organization have not done that bad a job when it comes to. You got T.O. and A.J. Brown in the building as free agent receivers. I'm not talking about free agents or trades or whatever. I'm talking about drafting the wide receiver position. Howie's been an average drafter, but I think Howie's been a really great drafter the last 5 years. Those drafts are really good. The last 5 years, they've done a really great job. Prior to that, one of the reasons I ripped them was because I never thought they drafted really all that hot. Seals, my point is, okay, here, and I'll tell LJ, again, another LJ account, Dan Sileo always tries to look for something negative. Dude want to go back 16 years. Because, folks, unlike this dickhead, you have a track record that you build up. You guys bring up Jalen Hurts' 2023 season, or his 2024 season, or his 2021 season. When a guy builds up a resume, this is Howie's resume as a GM. And it gives you what kind of trends that he does and how well the organization has done under his leadership. That's like talking about a head football coach's resume on how well that coach has coached for 10 years. General managers, that applies too. That completely applies also to GMs and coaches. Your legacy will always be evaluated, whether you're a player, whether you're a coach, whether you're a GM, whether you're an owner. Everything that you've ever done will be evaluated as long as you're in the league. And it sets the trends on how well you are and how well you do at respected positions. Only narrow-minded people don't look at things through a football lens. And by the way, I don't expect this guy to look at football through a football lens. I expect him to look it through a fan's lens, which is never talk shit or never have a conversation about what the organization has done and where it's going. Guys like this, you can't have a conversation with because it's either good or don't talk about it. Well, then, dude, you're at the wrong place. I've said it for 5 weeks to you. You're in the wrong show. This is not for you. This place is not for you. Damn. I mean, you can't even have, like you said, you can't have conversations with assholes. So again, what we'll do is we'll put him to the rear too, like the rest of these people. Sills, that's not for you. That's for the Eagle fans. Gotcha, James. Thank you, my friend. If you soft-ass fans actually listen, you might actually be better at talking football and evaluating your team. Absolutely. Again, I'm talking about there's a lot of pressure on Lemon coming into this season and to really be a productive guy. Talk to a guy this week in Ohio that went to Mount Union College with Sirianni. He said Nick was a fucking loudmouth party animal. That's all good. Hey, that's all good. And sometimes he coaches like that on the sidelines. That's all right. Hey, man, who wasn't a jackass when they were in college? I was. Yeah, James. Same with the Cowboys. They only really be to us with when we had Rush at quarterback, even a bum ass defense. Hell, why both of us destroyed the Giants, they struggled with the little Giants. Yeah, because the Giants could run the ball when they had Scatterboo, and they were healthier in the offensive line at the beginning of the year. The Giants had the 9th best offensive line or the 8th best offensive line in football. And that's why the Eagles struggled with them, because the Eagles got pushed around by the Giants' offensive line. As much as you guys blow up and blow off that run defense, we'll find out how good that run defense will be this year. And that'll be your demise if you haven't addressed it. It was your demise last year. John blows that shit off like Vic will give up losses. Is that what John's saying? Vic will give up losses? Because every time that they ran the ball down your throat, you lost. That's not a coincidence. Every loss, 170 yards and 5 yards a carry. And you guys are making it sound like you had a great run defense. Based on what? Where? And all of the teams that controlled the games that beat you, like Denver, ran the ball. Offense was dog shit, and they expected to be again. Keep chirping. Almost like running the ball is key to winning. It is. We had a better run than most of the playoff teams of a season ago. We had a better run. You had a better run defense? Is that what you're saying? You had a better run defense than most teams a season ago? Well, let's take a look at that. Really? You had a better run defense than most teams a year ago. So here's your run defense a year ago. And here's the teams that were in the top 10. The Broncos, the Seahawks, the Texans, the Patriots, the Chargers, and the Ravens. And the Jags. And the Eagles were at the bottom 10. The Eagles were 22nd in run defense. Only the Cowboys, Falcons, Cardinals, Dolphins, and the Bears. The Bears' run defense was 27th. The Bills were 28th. Jets, Commanders, Giants, Bengals were the worst. What are you talking about, guy? Josh Allen had the best run game in the NFL. What did he do with it? They also had the... Let's see here. They also had the 5th worst run defense in football. So you have the best run offense in football and the 5th worst run defense. Where do you think you're going with that? If a team can run the ball on you, they keep the ball away from Josh Allen. That means you give up time of possession. I'm more of a run defensive guy. I think if you're a great run defense, it keeps you in every game. Because you know why? You put teams in 3rd and long. the more you could put teams in third and long, the better chances of you winning games. I mean, common sense. If I'm winning first and the Eagles didn't win first and second down on any line of scrimmage last year. And I don't know how you don't think that's not a problem. Sills, the GM is great in drafting defensive players, but he's mediocre at drafting offensive players. He doesn't understand offense all that well. I think if he would, Nick wasn't going to be his coach. Well, Ricardo, here's what they did in that 4-year run. The most significant players in the huddle were free agents or drafts or trades. AJ and Saquon. They didn't draft those guys. You're not winning the Super Bowl without AJ and Barkley. You're not. And they were free agents. Now, there's an art to free agents too. Finding Zach Bond is tremendous. Getting Gardner Johnson is tremendous. See, I think he's really a little better at that. Getting Jalen Phillips and calming the defense down a year ago, I thought was great. I mean, Makuba, we'll see who he is. I think Campbell's going to be good. I don't really think all that much. I think Nolan Smith's an okay player. I don't think he's exceptional. I think finding Hunt is a good looking prospect, and that looks like it's going to be something. The Moro Ajomo pick is the Moro Ajomo pick is right up there with Q and Cooper. Does anybody know why? The Moro Ajomo pick is right up there with Q and with Cooper. Not quite, but it's right there. Why do you think? 7th round pick. Low money. High production. Massive value. That's a massive value deal. You can't in any way say that that's not one of the most valued picks on that football team. The two best picks on that team are Malata and Moro Ajomo. And where you got them and how much you paid for those guys and how much of an impact they are on your team. And I will agree with this. Milton Williams is a loss, but not all that much because of Ajomo's play. Ajomo covered it. He did. Not quite, but he did. And if I were the Eagles, I'd feel pretty good about that. Yeah, I didn't want to pay 26 for Milton Williams, and I got Ajomo who gave you about $25 million worth of effort. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm good with that. If Devontae goes down for any amount of time, will be a disaster. Having just dudes go so far when Mahomes didn't make it work. Hollywood. Well, when you have Mahomes and you have Brady and you have Stafford or any of them other guys, those guys are going to elevate those dudes in the passing game. Okay? They're going to elevate them. To me, it looks like something setting up to fall or fail, excuse me. You are correct, Mr. Sills. Milton had us take a hit against the run. The Pats were good against the run. Yeah, well, that's right. When you lost Milton Williams, you're not the run defense. And again, what I'm pointing out to you is no coincidence. Every single regular season loss you had, a team ran the ball down your throat. At 5 yards a clip. Remember what I said? Every other play is a first down. That's how you control the clock. That's how you control field position. You don't control field position through the passing game. You control it through winning first and second down. I keep hearing how much the owner loves a beautiful offensive game. Do they really believe Nick Sirianni's capable of building his beautiful offense? I don't believe he's I don't know how you build a beautiful offense with Jalen Hurts as your quarterback. I think people and Eagle fans are missing how big a loss AJ is. And we're going to find out. All right. So let's get to the topics. And again, I wanted to point out with this list, how good will Mekhi Lemon be? You haven't had a great history of drafting wide receivers. You had a great one with Devontae. A horrible one with Rager. Kind of washes each other. And then after those two dudes, here, Jordan Matthews, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, Josh Huff, Quez Watkins, Matt Collins, Riley Cooper. These guys are like, they're guys. And some of these guys are second and third round draft choices and first rounders. I mean, that's not really a great list. We'll see. Like, do I think Mekhi Lemon is going to have, hey, if Mekhi Lemon has 50 catches for 500 yards and 4 touchdowns, that would be a good year for him. 50 TD or 50 catches, 500 yards, and 5 touchdowns. That's what I'm expecting from him. What are you expecting from him? Let's see here. How many accounts do you have now, guy? You're so obvious. Nick is a wide receiver coach's background. That'll make his Lemon pick more interesting. I like that. Good move, man. They're going to make sure Barkley gets the football. He's the slowest of the bunch. Dude, throwing the football to Saquon Barkley is not what I would say improving your pass game. If Smitty gets taken away, could Lemon be better than expected as a 1? I saw Emeka Buka last year with the Buccaneers after Mike Evans went down. Emeka Buka superior of an athlete and talent to Mekhi Lemon. The Buccaneers first round pick out of Ohio State. He is a spectacular player. And I don't see Mekhi Lemon in that room and that kind of talent. Emeka Buka is a good football player. And I think he's going to be an exceptional one. Mekhi Lemon, we'll see. I haven't seen anything of him, so I'm going to give the kid a chance. What up, Sills? Outside of Smitty, I don't know what any of these wideouts will do. Honestly, no one does. You're right. Goddard will be the guy. Okay, so you know what we're going to do? We're going to do something. And Danelle, are you in here? Is my friend Danelle in here? Because this kind of goes to what you asked yesterday. And I did it last night, and I broke it down. Says, have you noticed the last 4 years when the defense doesn't have competent edge rushers, it's not that good? Yeah, because what they're doing is they're running the stretch play on the Eagles' tackles. And they're running stretch and cutback. And that's why they struggled at the beginning of the year until they got Jalen Phillips. When Jalen Phillips came in, he settled it down a little bit. And the edge play got better immediately. How many teams on our schedule have 2 great? Why don't we go there? And that's exactly where Danelle went yesterday. So what I did was I compiled. Now, listen, this is not an exact science in what we're doing here. The pass offense is going to be going against these secondaries. And some of the teams obviously have changed their secondaries. So we're basing it off of what they've done a year ago. And quite frankly, there's really no excuses. Okay? So you got to remember something. The Eagles last year were 23rd in passing. With A.J. Brown. Okay? They were 23rd with A.J. Brown. So, the Commanders, you open the season with the Commanders. They had one of the worst pass defenses in all of football a year ago. They were 28th. Okay? You should go into that game. Well, you're 23rd without AJ. You can't look at the opposing team and not look at yourself. You've never, get this. You see how Reyes goes like this? It's 1-0. You're not that. What makes you a better passing attack than the Commanders' pass defense with no AJ? I think that's a push. They're 28th. You're 23rd without AJ. How are you better? How are you better than the Commanders' secondary? You got to look at yourselves too. Now, I'll give you the benefit, and I'll say you're going to get it done because I believe that, but you're not head and heels better than the Commanders' secondary. Last 2 years, you've been horrible in the passing game. And because the Commanders have a horrible number 2, that doesn't mean you're close. And to James, they think they're better or as good of a passing attack, even though the Commanders were 28th. You were 23 with AJ. With AJ. You're better? I think that's going to be something to keep an eye on. The Bears had the the Bears had the 22nd best pass defense. Well, you had the 23rd best passing attack. That's a push. That's another game to watch. How are you better than the Bears? Secondary. Also, defenses have got better since last year, especially in the NFC East cells. Not going to be easy with lesser talent and new play caller. Okay? Get this. What's the massive facts in front of you? You lost A.J. Brown? I am. Get this. Reyes thinks they're better without A.J. And they were 23rd a year ago. Hey, the Commanders are also using a new offensive coordinator. And you're using a new, and by the way, hang on. I'm talking about your offense. I'm talking about your offense. Try to stay on point, kid. Try to stay on point. So the Bears, that's a push. The Rams were 19th. That's a push. The Jags were 21st in pass defense. That's a push. The Panthers were 15th. Okay. We'll see. We'll see what you do against them. The Cowboys had the worst pass defense in football. I'm assuming you're going to beat the Cowboys and split with them. And that's why they went and got Caleb Downs. But as any rookie, let's see what he does. The Giants were 16th. The Steelers were 29th. Arizona was 24th in pass defense. You're 23rd in pass offense with A.J. Brown. The Colts were 30th. The Seahawks were 10th. The Texans were 6th. The 49ers were 25th. My point is, when you look at all those poor pass defenses that you're going against, where's your advantage? That means your quarterback clearly has to elevate Devontae Smith. You're not going against elite secondaries outside of the Seahawks and Texans. but you're not elite at throwing the ball. You're going to have to become elite to win games. You know, almost every one of these teams are better against the run, too. Seals can't grade the 49ers' whole defense was destroyed. I know. I got it. Seals, the thing with the Panthers' defense, their cornerbacks, J.C. Horn can't stay healthy. Correct. What's the false narrative? That you weren't very good at throwing the ball? And that you don't have the advantage without A.J. Brown? Imagine that. M. Reyes thinks they're better 20, 30 years ago, and they don't have A.J. Brown. And he thinks they're going to have the advantage in the passing game with a new OC and one less skilled player. That's a false narrative? Folks, that's not a narrative. That's a fact. You don't have AJ. You have a new OC, and you're not very good in the passing game. It's not a narrative. Those are facts. And you haven't been good in the passing game in 3 years. I mean, those are facts. Don't let the facts get in the way. Was it nowhere near elite last year? Still won 11 ball games and made the playoffs. Yeah, you rode your defense's coattails. With a bad run defense, which you clearly stated affects the offense not getting the ball. So with AJ, does not matter if we don't have the run D, right? Yeah. Because they're still going to keep the ball away from your offense. Do you understand? Here, I'm going to show you something. Okay? And why that matters. And why I disagree with John about the run defense of Vic Fangio. Let me point something out to you here. Okay? So let's go. Let's go to what they did with their schedule last year. And let's go and let's take a look at what they did a year ago. And I'll show you why run defense matters. Okay, that's the Cowboys. Hold on here. Let's go to Philly. Okay, there's Philly. Let's go to schedule. Let's go to 2025. I'm going to show you. I'm going to make a point to you. Okay. In that Denver game, the first loss of the season. Here. That's your first L. Denver ran the ball for 130. You ran it for 45. Got beat on both sides of the football. But here, time of possession. The Broncos had the ball for 35 minutes. You had the ball for 25 minutes. They had the football a full 10 minutes more. Here. Here's the Giants. Giants ran the football for 172 yards. You ran the ball for 73. The New York Giants in that ball game had the ball for 31 minutes. You had it for 29 minutes. And the Giants had nothing but Jackson Dart and Scatterboo. They had 375 yards of total offense against the Eagles. And that's a poor team. How many games did the Giants win last year? 5? Here's this Cowboy game. The Cowboys, again, in this ball game, ran the ball for 125. You ran it for 60. We've done this exercise. You every game, time of possession mattered. Run D definitely matters, especially in the playoffs, especially in weather. Especially in weather games. If I was in a room watching film with M. Reyes, 2 gallons of vodka wouldn't help. Hey, he's not very smart. I mean, he watches the game. That's okay, though, man. He watches the game through his fandom eyes. There's nothing wrong with that. You got guys like Kim and LJ in here with 88 different handles, pretending that there's some sort of like narrative going across whatever. But it's okay. Most people don't like to hear. Okay. Keeping the game close also hurts our run defense. We're giving them more options, what plays to run. Not only that, Twiz, when you got lesser teams that can run the football on you, the Giants are not in your room. I mean, the Giants should not even be in your conversation. That Giant football team was horribly talented a year ago. How did they beat you? One guy, Carter's out? I'm not looking forward to the Giants game week 1. Scatterbo could be a big problem. Didn't they get a good fullback too? Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be back for that opener. He had a pretty catastrophic knee injury. Didn't you ever work with Steve Dumig? I did. They have good safeties, but they have one lockdown corner. Yes, they do. I'm not looking for, you've done this one here, my bad. The Broncos and Giants game needed added context. Who remembers forcing the ball to AJ? I don't. These games were where they schemed for us heavily on AJ because he was divvying out. You talk about a narrative? That's a narrative. This guy doesn't even know what the word narrative means. I give him facts in games and what you did this last year, and he says that that's not a narrative. I mean, Sills, you literally said we needed to throw more picks and be risk averse. No, I did not say that. I said you got to learn to accept it if he throws for 640 attempts. You're going to have law of averages. You throw more turnovers are going to happen. And you've got to be cool to live with that. You're not going to – Hurts is not Aaron Rodgers. He's not going to in any way. And by the way, forcing the ball to AJ, well, why the fuck are you paying him $32 million then? I did say that. But in context, if you throw the ball 650 times, you've got to learn to have more patience in the passing game because there's more opportunity at turnover plays. It's called law of averages. If I had AJ on the Redskins, I promise you, I still keep him. Most teams have one decent corner. Devontae isn't that dude to take over a game. Has he ever taken a game over? See, you want to know what context is? Let's put this in context. I went over all the past defenses. And again, teams are going to get better. Schedule, new players, what have you. But you lose AJ. You've got a new OC. You're 23rd a year ago. And don't make it sound like you're better than the Commanders pass secondary. You're not. You don't have more talent. You and the Bears are close. They were 22nd in pass defense. You were 23rd in pass offense with AJ. How are you having the advantage? You have the advantage if the quarterback runs. Not in the passing game. Every single one of these games that I point out to you where it's going to be even in the passing game, this comes down to Jalen Hurts running the ball and being the other guy. You have no advantage anywhere this coming season with your pass offense as a skilled group of people. NFL executives told you that. You got the 17th best quarterback, and you got the 22nd best wide receiver. You got the 18th best tight end. They don't think you're exceptional there. So, what's exceptional? Hurts' running ability. If he can't run the ball, you're common. And, of course, what we talked about yesterday, health. Sills, it's crazy how people talk about risk-averse offense. But Brady, Breeze, Rodgers ran pass-heavy offenses and would literally go 2 months without an interception. Why do you think that is? That's because they had a short to intermediate passing game. And what made Aaron Rodgers so undefensible in his heyday? Dude, when he was out in space and he rolled and he threw on the run, if Jalen Hurts had that ability, when he escapes the pocket, when he rolls right, and he was accurate, instead of throwing it either to the sidelines or out of bounds, Rodgers would throw it to the middle of the field. That's what made him deadly. Rodgers moving around out in space, you couldn't defend him. One year he had 46 touchdowns and 4 picks. They threw intermediate passes. They threw checkdowns. They threw all that shit. Remember Aaron Jones? Guy would have 65 catches. And they would throw the ball to him. Those guys know what they're doing with the short, and they weren't like deep ball passing guys. They were anticipation throwers. They threw on the move. All of those guys had all those super skill sets. This is where the offense on the Eagles side of the ball is limited. You're not special in the pocket. You're special out of the pocket. Quarterback runs. The receivers in space. Shit like that. 45 sacks. Holding the ball too long. You're not exceptional in the pocket. That's why Mannion has to do more. I think you move the guy around. I think you move Smitty around. Was a great throw. One of the best. He's had a couple of those Hail Mary throws. I agree. Aaron Rodgers. He was just saying it in different forms, but it's the same thing. I want the football. Hurts just needs to pass for 150 to 200 and get 50 yards on the ground. Twiz, he did that, you'd win 11, 12 football games. You get between 150 and 200 yards and 50 yards on the ground, you can't defend them. And that means your O-line's healthy, and that means you're killing people. And that means you're winning time of possession. Those 50 yards are more important in some aspects than the 200 yards passing. Because those 50 yards keep the sticks moving. The 200 yards, I don't know. The 50 yards is what really keeps the sticks moving. Because those are essential yards you have to get. LJ, not another name. Ah, dang. Dude, you're going to get your man card taken from you. Joe Krause offered you a link. You didn't want to come on. How many name changes are you going to go through, guy? You're starting to worry me. I may have to call the FBI on you. Soft Ass Media just goes, with the talking points given. AJ shouldn't give up on plays if he's crying about the ball. You knew that. Twiz, you knew who that guy was. You're now finding out. I always knew who he was. But still, they ask your boy to question, do you think I got my sources from them? And I'm not sure what you're talking there. AJ wasn't really being that bad about everything. Could you imagine what it'd be like if he was Terrell Owens? Yeah, he wasn't that bad. The effort shit, I disagree again with John. You know what? You tell me. If lack of focus, does that affect your effort? I think it does. Don't you think lack of focus affects your effort? If you're not focused, you're going to look like you're loafing. You may not mean it, but if you're not engaged, if you're not engaged, it's going to look like you're loafing. I mean, focus is a big deal, dude. There was a time when I wasn't worried about 3rd and long with Hurts on the field. Me too. Where'd that Hurts go? He's never been the same since 2022. You know what's crazy, Rasputin? I asked everyone, and you know what the greatest thing, Zander, we have here with JAKIB? You can go back and watch some of the things I said about Jalen Hurts in the offseason of 22. You know what I said? You think this is the best you're ever going to see Jalen Hurts, or do you think there's more to come? James, go back and watch this. I asked that topic question. Do you think there's a higher ceiling? Everybody per man was running high because it was after the Super Bowl run, and you lost the Super Bowl by just a few plays. And everybody. And I asked the question, do you think you've seen the best of Hurts? Well, we have. And we've only seen it in glimpses. We've not seen. 2022 was the last time he was the most consistent player in his career. Other than that, and here, get this. You want to put context to something? 25th, 8th, 16th, 29th, and 23rd. Those are the passing attacks under Jalen Hurts. And those 2K wide receivers, the reason you're changing is because you had 2 1,000-yard receivers. You became so predictable, it became easy to defend. If you have 2 1,000-yard receivers and 80% of you coming out of shotgun and 80% of the throws go to the sidelines, no. I didn't ignore the question. Your passing attack stunk. Except for 1 year. Facts. I answered it. You got 2 1,000-yard receivers, and you made your offense predictable by doing it. You don't spread the ball around. Here, let me show you something. Let's take a look at something here. Let's go over to Matthew Stafford. And let's take a look at something here. Matthew Stafford. And let's look here. Matthew Stafford, West. There it is. So last year, on the football team, Puka Nacua had 129 catches. Primary target. Well, you hired a guy that believes in a primary target. Because the rest of these guys, Devontae Adams had 60 catches. The next guy had 43 catches. The next guy was a running back, had 36 catches. They had a primary target. Let's see Sam Darnold. Super Bowl champions. JSN, 119 catches. Well, who was their second best receiver? Does anybody know who their second best receiver was in Seattle last year? Anybody know who their second best wideout was? It was a tight end. Their second best player a year ago was a tight end. And here are the number two guys: 47, 52, 31, 15, 20. That's Seattle. Here, let's go with another good football team. Let's go 49ers. They had a primary target. Christian McCaffrey was the primary target, 102. And then after that, here's what Purdy and Mac Jones did: 55, 50, 37, 36, 34. If you guys think your second wide receiver in this offense is going to have 60, 70 catches, you're back to where you were before. You're predictable to what M. Reyes says. Making 2,000-yard receivers and then nobody else, you're back to being predictable. Primary target, and you're going to make another guy a primary target. Well, where are you getting better on offense in the passing game then? It's the same shit. That's spreading the ball around. When you have two 1,000-yard wideouts and you're the majority of the time in the pocket and you're throwing to two dudes, if I'm a defensive coordinator, I know where you're going with the ball. Add some context to the Niners. They didn't put up with Ayuk and were better without him. Well, they got a better play caller. And they got a better passer. I mean, you're not under the impression Jalen's a better passer than Purdy, are you? Jalen's more skilled because he can run. He takes that dynamic away. You know what's funny, too? I heard the guys talking today. And I got to ask the question. And I think this comes down to the organization. Have they decided to change this offense because the quarterback is so boneheaded on running that they're forcing Nick and everyone to change the offense? I'm not running anymore. And so the head coach has to force the new offense in because guess why? You're not getting what you paid for. Why in the world would Jalen Hurts not want to have a running element? That's what got him paid. That's like being a switch hitter in baseball and saying, I don't want to hit from both sides of the plate anymore. I'm just going to be a right-hand hitter. And you take that element away, like a Cal Raleigh. Cal Raleigh, what makes him dynamic, the catcher in Seattle, is that he's a catcher and he's the number one player defensively in all of baseball, and he's a switch hitter. And he hit 60 bombs. That's what makes him elite. That's what makes him special. You take that fact that he doesn't want to switch hit, you take a huge element away from his game when you do that. Now, the only rebuttal I have is if your organization isn't listening, I guess you're stuck doing drastic measures. So I get it. Jason, well, here, you got to ask yourself, why would Nick, and you know what? Let's go down Zander and John McMullen's lane and say, Nick's a smart coach. Zander, let's go down your lane. Nick's a smart coach. Nick's not changing that offense because he wants to. Nick's changing that offense because something compelled him to. I think it's the player. I think the player wants to be more of a guy that plays in the pocket. And I think they've made that clear. And they're doing everything they can to make that happen for him. What it does, it also puts him on the hot seat. Because if you really want all these changes, why would Nick change? Nick's not stupid. We talk about the politics of Nick Sirianni. And I'm going to agree with Zander on one point with Nick. He's not dumb. He's not going to light his hand on fire just to light his hand on fire. He's going to put that fire out, dude. Okay? Well, how do I put that fire out? Let me build the offense on how I know how to build an offense. He's building a Phillip Rivers offense. For Phillip Rivers, not for Jalen Hurts. They're building it because I think the player doesn't want to run. This is the only thing that makes sense. That he doesn't want to sit there and run and get hit anymore. And as a matter of fact, I wonder if the organization looks at it and goes, we can't put our franchise in jeopardy by running our quarterback like that. It's going to be a short window for his career. And there's too many good intangibles the kid brings to our huddle and our team for us to sit there and not try to make it into a passing attack. I think all that stuff has been talked about. There's too much good with Hurts to not try this. Do I think they'll resort back? I do. But I think this is on the quarterback. Sills, you're consistently hard on Hurts. Don't think you'd like it done to your career. 130 live views couldn't. I appreciate you being here. Hey, dude, whether one guy or two guys are here, it's irrelevant. And by the way, those comments, don't bug me, guy. You got the wrong dude in the wrong show. You don't like it, Brandon? This is not a military draft. You don't have to be here. I don't know what to tell you. Like this guy, Darren, and all these, or LJ, you don't have to be here. I know that's why I think they're just passing more. Dan, you nailed it. He does not want to get hit like a running back. Yeah, because I don't really think they know how to legislate hitting running quarterbacks. Cam Newton and all these guys get banged up and beat up. Whether that was coached or a choice may never be known, but he stopped doing it. Correct. Okay? Hey, no, he just comes here under a different name now. Like, that guy has to be 2 years old. This Darren guy, he's got 18 different names. Dude, it's quite remarkable. I'm glad I can motivate a guy like that to be that kind of a douche. So, I mean, you could just tell by the way he posts. So, I mean it. Thank you. Without meeting you, I wouldn't have had the knowledge I have now for the sport. I appreciate that, James. That means a lot, man. James, I see the game differently because I watch it from the inside out. Most people watch the game from the outside in because they're fantasy football guys. And they watch it from the outside in. The NFL knows this. That's why there's an emphasis on wide receivers and skilled guys for fans to watch. A good football guy will watch it from the inside out. And you get a good sense of the game, learning how the inside scoops work, how offensive lines work, how secondaries, like I said, like the heart of Vic Fangio's defense is the heart of his defense. Hey, let me ask you this, James. You think there's any coincidence that you've got Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Jahad Campbell, Zach Bond, they're moving Cooper DeJean to safety, and you're going to have Makuba. Look at the middle of your football field on defense. You think there's any coincidence to that? And if any place, where do the Eagles get hurt on defense? You know where they get hurt on defense? On the edges. That's where they get hurt. Okay? Look at this. High IQ. I got a guy who's been a coordinator for over 40 years in the NFL, writes great things to me, and says that nobody knows the game better than me, but M. Reyes says, high IQ? Well, that's not at abundance here. And you're at the low end of the totem pole, dude. You have no knowledge of the game. You have zero knowledge of the game, M. Reyes. Zero knowledge of the game. Zero. If Dickerson pulls off a reach and scoop, then I'm going to Columbia for STEM. Hey. Okay? Football has different views from players, front office, agents, and fans. Kind of wild. Yeah. Players look at the game different. Like, I don't have a favorite team. Like, here, I'll tell you the guys I love on the Eagles to watch. I like watching Jordan Mailata, Lane, Smitty, Bond is exceptional to watch. Cooper DeJean is great to watch. Quinyon Mitchell, exceptional. Quinyon Mitchell has such an advantage. He's a man. He is a man corner playing in zone. He's man playing in zone. And it's a day off for him. That's how good he is. He only has to play center field. And he could play man. You know why he doesn't have interceptions? Because he doesn't play man. He has no regular season interceptions. I've never heard that for a guy you're going to pay $32 million to. But if you watch the games, you see why. Oh, by the way, Howie will hold that against him in negotiations. Sills, most of these guys have never gotten scouted, let alone know what it is like to play at the highest level. Like, they don't realize the worst professionals they see on TV would blow their doors off. Hey, Michael, I'll tell you when that first happened to me. So when I got to the Bucs, we go up to Green Bay. Green Bay was not a very good team back then. This was like when they were making the change to Don Majkowski. Remember that guy, the Magic Man? And we went up there. I said, oh, this team's not that good. I had just come from college. I only knew a narrative that they weren't good. I got on the field, and I realized one thing. Okay? I realized one thing. That the difference between, back then, a 6-10 team and a 10-6 team were 20 plays in every game. And the difference between being 7-10 and 10-7 is about 25 critical plays a year. That's the difference between, like, here, how about this play? If Jordan Davis doesn't block the punt or a field goal, you lose the Rams game. That's one play. One play changed that entire football game. One play. One play changed that football game. That's the difference. Right? I mean, if Hurts doesn't have a turnover in that Charger game, that's another play. I mean, the Cowboy game, when Miles Sanders fumbled the ball when they were going in, they could have swept you twice. That's one play for the Cowboys. Every single year, it's about 25 plays a year that dictate losing and winning. And the players that are on those teams, like the Titans, those guys are great football players. They just haven't figured out the Rubik's Cube yet. Steel's top 10 best offenses last year were all head coaches, and 2 offensive coordinators were responsible for them. But there were 2 competent and experienced coordinators. You need experience in the NFL. I completely agree. I think you need problem solvers when you don't have the talent on your football team. Again, I keep bringing up the Kyle Shanahan because it's a great moment in the season because it was a microcosm of the Eagles year all year long. They had no answers on how to improve the run game. Do you know what their answer was? Firing Jeff Stoutland. That's not an answer. I'm not firing that guy. The only way I'm firing him is insubordination. And I have to believe there was some insubordination going on. For Stoutland to be relieved of his duties, there had to be some insubordinating conversations where Nick felt uncomfortable with the way he was approaching and how he was coaching his guys. Like, my guys and your guys. No, they're all in it together. And if that's the case, Stoutland should have been fired. He should have been. And Nick's right. You don't move up for Jeff Stoutland just because of one fucking bad year. If that's the case, Nick should have been fired in 23. I mean, yeah. Well, you can call it whatever you want. You can call it whatever you want, Mello. Jesus Christ. Stop looking for reach arounds. You guys could never be coached by football people, man. They don't talk to you like that in those meetings. Let me make you feel better about your life so that it's easier to coach you. Fuck that. Do your job and shut up. That's what they say to you. Wait, you think they talk the way they talk to you fans? Those coaches? Are you out of your mind? I've never met a coach that was great, that beat around the bush to make you and your life feel better about your life. Better get your shit going or you're out of here. I got a dude sitting right over there that could do that job at less money. Pick your game up. Hey, that's reality talk. Hey, are you feeling okay, Mello? Hey, Mello, are you okay? Hey, Mello, are you all right? Is everything good? Hey, will you please, pretty please, do me a favor? And let's see if we can run a pretty please. Can we run a slip block? Please? Come on, Mello. I really need you to run a slip block. And then can you please run a fan? I'd like to see, we got to get a fan protection on the backside. Is that okay? You think they talk to you like that? I'm really glad that I was raised by my grandfather. I really was. Because when I got into playing competitive sports, and I got into playing competitive sports, I was so glad that my granddad was hard on me like that, because it was nothing when I was getting chewed out and people were kicking my ass. I was so glad when I got people on my ass. Get your shit together, kid. So my granddad talked to me. I would think on a professional level of sports that you just need to do your job regardless of any. Dude, how many times have you heard Amendola and Edelman? And how many times have you heard them go, Bill Belichick would just turn to those guys and go, shut the fuck up. That's coaching. Hey, Edelman, shut the fuck up. Hey, Brady, shut the F up. He didn't have a problem telling them guys that. Sills, is Sirianni's job safe? A make or break year from Hurts goes wrong? Hey, dude, I think the job of the Philadelphia Eagle head coach is always on the firing squad. Yes. If that thing turns out to be a 6-11 season, he's gone. He's gone. Now, my 8-9 prediction, they may give him the benefit because of the record to bring it back and give him a chance to fix it. But they never gave Doug the chance. When they went 4 wins, they didn't give Doug a chance to come back and fix that. They fired his ass. Belichick had the cachet to say to somebody, get this, that does, wait a second, Jonathan Gannon? Yes, he does have the cachet. When you're the head dude in the building and that football team is your football team, I don't care if you won 5 or 10 Super Bowls or no Super Bowls. When your head football coach tells you to get in there and there's only 43 seats in the locker room and he happens to pick you as one of those 53, that's his cachet. He's got 90 guys to pick from, and he's picking you as one of his 53. You owe that coach your undivided attention, especially with the money you're paying. Guy wins 5 Super Bowls, 10 Super Bowls, cachet. A brand new head coach has just as much cachet. You know why? Because he's going in there firing everybody. I pick you to be one of my 53. That is a ton of responsibility. Thank you, coach. I owe you. I owe you. He could have anybody, but he picked me. That's why making those rosters like that, getting game checks, it's a big thing. That's a big deal. Sills, I remember. Hey, and by the way, you know that shit you guys all talk about with Kevin Patullo? Every single one of those players owe Kevin Patullo an apology for failing that guy. Every one of them. That's reality. When you get a coach fired and he gets removed, players, Jimmy's and Joe's. Jimmy's and Joe's. It's like firing a hitting coach on the Phillies if Harper goes 0 for 25. Batting coach doesn't get up there and take 4 swings. He doesn't get up there. That's Harper, underperforming. Yeah, but you'll never understand that because you've never gotten a professional paycheck. Sills, I remember seeing Belichick on the sidelines of a divisional game saying, Tom, what the hell are you doing? Can we please throw the fucking ball? Yeah. He did fail the players. Nick Sirianni failed the players by hiring him. I told you a year ago he was unqualified to be the offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles. Google it, like Kurt Signetti says. He was unqualified. We made that comment very clear a year ago. And we said that all offseason. He was unqualified. Nick hired him anyway. That's on Sirianni. He owes the players an apology. Why would KP not take that job? It's a boost in pay and an opportunity to become a coach in the NFL. That's on Nick. Who hired him? According to John, Nick did. Hey, Sills, do you think that for 2 or 3 years the Eagles have lost a lot of key players and that it will all come to an head this year, especially with the coaching changes? As a matter of fact, I got one. Dude, I've hit one topic, and that is one of my topics. You can't compare football to baseball, though. It's only so much that they can do it for a batter than an OC can. You're missing the point, dude. You're missing the point. Batulu could not play call in game, Sills. That's on Nick. This happens all the time in the NFL. Yes, it does. Yes. Hiring inexperienced. Listen, you can hire the most experienced coordinators in the NFL. But if you have the wrong talent around them, you have to be able to adapt and do something different. If Kellen Moore doesn't prove that point to you, then whatever I say here will never resonate with you. When Kellen Moore got to Philly, he wanted motions. He wanted under center. He wanted to do so much more in the passing game. Well, bye week comes, they scrapped everything. All the things they were doing, motion and all that, came to a screeching halt because Kellen Moore had been fired twice. Third time, he ain't getting another job. He's a position coach for the rest of his time. He had to do something. And Barkley, out of nowhere, has a renaissance career year. And what fans are looking at, 24 really spoiled you guys. You're never getting back to that defense and that offense all together as one. That's like one of the best, if not the best team the Eagles have ever had in their franchise's history. To assume you're going to duplicate that is nuts. Just to assume that is crazy. That we're going to get back to 24 form. No, you're not. Number 1 defense. Number 2 rushing attack. He had the 2 best lines in football. Dude, actually, that first Super Bowl you won, I like that team. Marsh, thank you, brother. Absolutely, Sills. I totally agree when you're right. Nick has failed this team. The owner already wanted to fire the coach. Just like we are all called Jalenites, we have to incorporate the term Nickites. It's only right, bro. All right. Oh, my God. There's Nick Sirianni people. There's people that think, Zander's not in that group. But there's people that think like, who's the guy that Angelo says is already beginning to carve his bust for Canton? I put Nick's bust in the latrine. Sills, how was available for the OC job? We had a late start to the process winning the bowl. You did? And Cliff, we turned down because he wanted to get Stout out. Now looking back, did we make the right choice? Yeah, because you know what, Twiz? You know what's funny? You made the choice a year later, right? With lesser dudes. A lesser O-line coach and a lesser coordinator. You know? So now you're going backwards. Seals, when you look at all these names connected to Bill Walsh and his disciples, is it safe to say that he may go down as one of the best and have one of the best coaching trees in NFL history? Yeah, with Holmgren and Kirkpatrick was one of the greatest offensive line coaches of all time. Oh, absolutely. Holmgren and Shanahan, all the people that worked with him, no question about it. Steve Mariucci was a pretty good player on the coaching level for a while, especially when he was in San Francisco. All right. I can't believe, dude, we are right here. So 49ers report, hey, my Niner guys that are in here, 49ers reported today. The rookies. Yesterday was Seattle. All throughout the next couple days, we're going to get teams reporting every single day. I think the Cowboys report the 28th in Oxnard. I posted an old school picture, too, over on my Twitter account when I was there in Oxnard. And I was there when I believe they had their third camp, and I was at the Mighty 1090 in San Diego when we went up there when they had camp. So I posted a picture there. So if you want to go there and look, that's at Dan Sileo Show. But without further ado, we bring in my guy, Big Z, Zander Krause. How you doing, bro? Appreciate you coming aboard.
What's up, Sills? How you doing, my brother?
Hey, man, can you believe it? Here we go. Next week this time.
I'm ready, man. I'm ready to go. I'm fired up. I'm ready for the season. So as I said earlier, I don't know if it was on this show or the morning show, I like the other sports. They don't do it though for me. You know what I mean? They just don't have the level of excitement, the level of anticipation. You really don't want to miss a football game when football season's on. I don't feel that way about any other sports. So I'm excited for it to get back, man. I'm ready for it to go, and I'm ready to get to that busy season as well on the shows and for work and everything. So I'm looking forward to it.
Do you know what I love and I've become a big fan of? The lead up to every weekend game. The build up to the game. You know,
Dude, the build up is more excitement in many ways than some watching a baseball game.
How many times do we get in a post game show going, shit, that we built that up all week long?
I know.
Right?
Don't say that. I know you're right, but
Yeah, I mean,
right.
All right, before we get going here, Jeff Kerr said something that I was pretty interested when I heard him say it. Because he said, and You correct me if I'm wrong. And because you asked him, he goes, hey, I paid a guy. I don't care. I'm going to pay the guy. There's too much upside. All right. I thought that was interesting. So do you think the Philadelphia Eagles are looking at it like this? Man, this guy has so much potential. I hate that word. Potential. I'm going to pay for the potential. Do you want to pay for the potential or the production?
Well, you obviously want to pay for the production, especially big contracts.
Well, right now it's potential.
Well, Sills, I'm fine with potential on rookie deals. That's why I'm fine with them waiting on Carter and Hurts. You know, when you're paying big money contracts, this is where I 100% agree with you. Throw potential out the door, you know, and you could argue maybe the Eagles are going away from that. I mean, was Jordan Davis as good of a season as he had? Was he paid on potential?
No.
So you think they paid $27 million for a run stuffer?
I think they paid $27 million because everything they asked him to do, he delivered. In shape, played hard.
He still wasn't a 3-down player.
No, but you know what they're paying? They're going to pay for that potential that he's going to develop into that because of all the other things he did. Do you not agree? Came in shape, played hard, outplayed Carter, became a leader on the team.
Yeah.
All the boxes that they wanted him to check, he checked it. And you know what? The last one might be him being a 3-down guy.
Well, maybe. I mean, you know, maybe. But
don't you feel more comfortable paying Davis than you do Carter right now?
Davis is a good piece of a team.
Yeah, but I don't trust
Carter. That's fair. But when you're, I mean, all right, if we go down the camp of the potential, and I understand why you hate it, Carter is a difference maker. Carter is a cornerstone player. Jordan Davis is a great piece on a great team. Jalen Carter is a difference maker on a great team. There's a difference in there. Now, to rebut my own comment, he has to do that more consistently. Can he stay healthy? Can he handle the spotlight? Can he handle the maturity? Can he handle the leadership? Can, Phil Simms said it 3 years ago on this show. Can he handle playing with the contract? All those different things are fair questions of Jalen Carter. But when you're talking about skill set, holy shit, dude, Jalen Carter is a game wrecker. But he just has to be it now consistently.
Do you think C.J. Gardner is a difference maker at safety?
Well, he's a
difference
maker, but he's not a consistent difference maker. He can make plays, but he can also get beat. He kind of reminds me of like a Deron Bryant.
So he's Jalen Carter.
No, I think like a Deron Bryant.
Executive says that he'll show up and he'll make you some great plays, and then he'll get drugged by common plays.
Well, then yeah, I mean, sure, if you want to go down that road. I mean, it's tougher for me to comp them because they're very different positions. But
they're both untrustworthy guys.
Deron Bland is who comes to mind for me when you bring up Gardner Johnson. They'll get the 6 picks, but sometimes they get torched in coverage too. So I think that's fair. But
that guy's so overrated. Deron Bland, he's so overrated. I would never want.
I agree. But
okay, so let me ask you about Mekhi Lemon. What are you expecting from Mekhi Lemon this year?
I can't say I'm expecting that much because I don't want to be unrealistic about expectations. I think Devontae Smith was a much better player coming out of college than Mekhi Lemon was.
He was.
And Devontae Smith, I think, had 960 yards his rookie year. Now, there's different circumstance. Devontae was the number one, which might help Lemon more because there's going to be less defense slanted his way when you got Devontae as the number one. Devontae was a 1 his rookie year. But if Devontae Smith puts up 960 as a rookie, how much can you expect of Mekhi Lemon? I think 700 would be great. I think 800 would be freaking awesome. But I'm expecting more in the 600 range. I think that's probably a fair expectation for him, considering the offense has sucked in passing the ball the last 2 years. He's the number 2 wideout, we think. And he's a rookie player. The other part is he's undersized. So is he going to have to learn how to play in the NFL at that size? There are a lot more dudes that size at that position now in the NFL than maybe a decade ago. You see guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown and anything and like that. But I think he'll have a decent year, but I don't have huge expectations.
So let me give you a little bit of how the Eagles have performed at that position. The Eagles have drafted 11 wide receivers since Howie Roseman became the general manager in 2010, excluding 2015 when Chip held the personnel control. Here's who he's drafted: Riley Cooper, Jordan Matthews, Josh Huff, Nelson Aguilar, Matt Collins, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, Jalen Reagor, John Hightower, Quez Watkins, Devontae Smith, and Johnny Wilson. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of misses in there, isn't there? Now some of them are obviously more important than others.
And I do believe he's gotten better since the Reagor pick.
Well, I mean, it's really only Devontae Smith. I mean, you traded for AJ. That was a good trade. I'll give him that, because AJ Brown wasn't. Anybody can make up what they want about AJ Brown. He was not the player he was after he came to Philly. I mean, nobody was talking about AJ Brown. Oh, a top 5 receiver in the NFL, and they traded for him. No way.
Underutilized.
So. Right. So that was a good trade by Howie, but really the only draft pick that's worked, has been Devontae Smith. I mean, Jahan Dotson was acquired in a trade because their late round picks didn't really play up to being the wide receiver 3. Quez Watkins was a pretty good 6th round pick, I'd say.
Yep.
I think he was 6, right? And they took Hightower in the 5th. Yeah. So I think that was a pretty good pick, but yeah, it's not great, Sills. It's not great, man.
See, that's why I think the expectations on Mekhi Lemon, I got 50 catches, 500 yards, and 5 touchdowns. I think that would be.
I don't hate that. I think that's got to be the minimum, though. I mean, don't you think the circumstance plays into his favor a little bit? I mean, they got rid of AJ Brown, so it's like, I think 500 yards would have been optimistic for him if they kept AJ Brown. Like Dotson had what, 300 last year, 400.
Yeah.
So 500 would have been. Now you have no AJ Brown. Sills, there's that old saying, there's only one ball. And in this case, it's now flipped the other way. The ball's got to go somewhere. I mean, if he's out on the field, the ball's got to go somewhere, for crying out loud. Like John always says, there's always a 20-point scorer on a shitty basketball team. Somebody's got to put the ball in the hoop. So, is it kind of that? Does that boost him up a little bit? Now, is he lining up in the slot? Is he lining up outside? I don't know where he's going to line up, but 500 to me has got to be the minimum.
I heard something else on your show today. I completely am now in the camp that Jalen Hurts, he's the one that went to Nick and said, I don't want to run anymore. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm going to agree with you on one thing on Nick. Nick is not a fucking dumb guy.
Uh-oh. Don't say that. Big Marshall might have an aneurysm.
Go here with me on this. He's not dumb to know that, wait, he doesn't want to run. Well, I got to do something else then to make the offense move, and I've got to do other things now. If this quarterback doesn't want to do this, and I compared it to this, Zander, it's like a switch hitter in baseball. It's like a guy all of a sudden doesn't want to switch hit anymore, and he only wants to hit from the right side of the plate.
Right.
He's not special and elite anymore. He's just a decent player. That's what Hurts has kind of done to himself here. No coach in his right mind would sit there and go like this, Jalen, I want you to stop running. Why would you legislate that out of your game?
All right, well, then forget the contract talk. Forget the $65 million. I mean, maybe if you want to give him a new deal.
Well, either Nick is dumb or Jalen doesn't want to do it.
Let me ask you this question. Now, Jalen would never do this, so it's just a hypothetical. Would you extend Jalen at the same money he's making now?
Yeah.
I think I would too. He's like the 12th highest paid.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be my preference, but how many other options are there?
No, yeah, I would.
I mean, 50? Sam Darnold, remember, you pointed out yesterday on your show, Sam Darnold was the winningest quarterback in football in the last 2 seasons, or 3, whatever it was.
Great.
He's making 35.
Yeah. Yeah. Go get me Mac Jones, and I'll try that experiment here. I mean, I think Mac Jones has the same skill set as Sam Darnold. You put all those great players around Mac Jones, and you play Nick Sirianni's risk averse with Mac Jones, then guess what? You're going to win 11, 12 games, I think, there too.
Yeah, well, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I just, we're all in this conversation because last time Jalen was paid, he became the highest paid player in football. I mean, you're talking 6. I mean, what's the high? What did Mahomes just get? 63?
63.
So you're talking 65 million? Are you I mean, really?
No way.
This is what I don't get. I don't have a problem with people who love Jalen because of the success the team's. I understand those fans completely. But when you're talking about $65 million and you don't even have the expectation of the player to play like an elite, like they don't even want him to play elite. They don't care. If you're going to pay, you better damn expect that player plays like an elite football player. That's what I don't get about the fan base. They like, all right, you love them, sure. Why are our expectations changing when you're talking about making a guy the highest paid player in the game?
No way.
I mean, that's fine, but that's got to come with some elite.
Like when I'm talking about making a player the highest paid player at his position, I'm talking Q and Cooper. I'm not talking Jalen Hurts.
I'll pay Cooper highest paid.
Dude, Jalen Hurts is probably the 5th best talented player in your huddle.
Dude, look at that. Underdog. This is so funny, though, because Underdog brings this up, and I got to be honest. This stat has been ringing in my head all offseason. 2 entire second halves of football.
Incredible.
With 0 yards. He's the only quarterback to do that, Underdog, in the last 50 years. 50 years.
That's insane. That's utterly insane.
Okay, seriously, can someone explain? How do you have Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, and Saquon Barkley and throw for 0 yards and a half of football? I can't even dump it to Saquon and let him run 3 yards.
Man. And win.
I mean,
Hey, and win.
Bullshit with the prevent offense. But Kyle, that's a cop-out. That's a cop-out. I know, Marsh. It's all the coaches. Oh my God.
Hey, I want to play a game with you here. Eagles passing game versus your opponents this year. I looked at the pass defenses. Now, obviously, this is not set in stone. Rosters have changed a little bit, your own included. You were 23rd a year ago, and now you're 23rd heading into this year without A.J. Brown. So I want to make a point here, and you tell me if you agree with it. So last year, the Commanders were 28th in pass defense. You were 23, and you don't have A.J. Looks like a push to me, like you don't have an advantage. The only advantage you would have in a game like that is Hurts's wheels. Titans are 23rd in pass defense. You're 23rd in offense. Where's your advantage? Bears were 22nd in pass defense. Rams are 19th. Jags are 21st. Panthers are 15th. Cowboys were worst in the league at 32nd. Giants were 16th. Steelers are 29th. Arizona's 24th. Colts are 30th. Seahawks are 10th. Texans 6th. Are the only 2 teams on your schedule this year. Even the 49ers are 25th. But yet you'll hear fans do this. Oh, we're gonna blow the hell out of those teams by throwing the football. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. You didn't blow anybody away throwing the football the last 2 years. Wow. You're 23rd without AJ. Don't you agree the only advantage you have is Hurts being the runner in this game, not the passer in these games? He's got to run more.
You think
he's got to run more, not throw more?
So you think he's going to run more?
I think he has to run more, not throw more.
I don't think he thinks that.
Well, they're not going to win then.
They did win 11 ball games last year.
Every single time they tried to up the volume of passes, it's not been a success. Well,
I'm not denying that point. I'm just saying the Eagles have seemingly figured. This is why I give Nick credit. Wait, the Eagles have seemingly figured out how to win 11, 12 ball games with a fucking inept offense. Can you believe it, everybody? Somebody ought to give this head coach a freaking crown. They figured out how to win football games with an inept offense. And by the way, they forfeited week 18 because they were saving everybody for the playoffs. They could have won 12 ball games pretty easily.
It's just a shame that your organization looks at an 11, 12 win team as a failure.
Well, expectations are high.
Okay. So 11 wins doesn't mean shit to them, correct?
It shouldn't. What do you want to be?
To them, they were 0-1.
Well, what do you want to turn into? The Cowboys?
Oh, no.
11 wins and you're patting yourself on the back? I mean,
no.
I don't have a problem saying it was a decently successful year, but you also want to still get better.
No, the Cowboys have the expectations of the Jets.
I'm saying when you win 11 games, when you win 11 games, to me, you didn't have a bad year. I mean, you were a winning team in the NFL, but you also want to strive to continue to get better, and that's where the Eagles are right now. And my whole problem with the offseason is personnel-wise, I don't really think outside of Grenard, have they done that? I mean, they got rid of AJ. Grenard was good, but they also lost the edge rusher they spent a third-round pick on.
I think it's a lateral move with Phillips and Grenard. Maybe.
No, I think Grenard's a better pass rusher.
Okay.
He has been in his career.
Okay.
Significantly better.
Okay. Last year he had 3 sacks.
All right. Is the only way to gauge a good pass rusher on the sack number?
No, not at all. I don't think it's a good way to look at Jalen Phillips and dismiss what he did when he got to the team.
Jalen Phillips had 1 sack with the Eagles in 10 games.
Did he make your defense better when he got here? Yes or no?
Well, that's a perfect example, though, that the sacks don't tell the whole story about a player that can make your defense better.
That's right.
So I think Grenard's going to make the defense better, let alone the sack number.
Well, I hope he gives them the same, maybe a tick up performance in defensive play. I really do. Okay. And I think he's capable of it. I think he's a good. Hey, no, I want to back up.
Me too, though. No,
I think he's a good player too. I do.
I get what you're saying. I mean, it is a concern that it went from 12 sacks to 3 last year. I think that's something to keep
in 17 games.
Right. So, we'll see. But I think it's an upgrade over Phillips for now.
He's not Robert Quinn. That's not what I'm
no. Oh, shit. I hope not. Remember, Robert Quinn had 13 sacks the year before.
No. 17.
17. That's right.
With the Bears.
You got worse personnel-wise on offense, right? We did. Can we all admit that, everybody, even if you hate A.J. Brown? We've gotten worse personnel-wise on offense,
yes.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And we've gone lateral on defense. Maybe you got better if Cooper and Quignon and those guys continue to get better.
Here's a question for you, Z. Fill in the gap. By week what will we know if Vic Fangio has a top 5 defense?
What did Vic say last year? Halfway through, right?
I think so.
I think halfway through. Remember, I think the other thing is.
So by week 8.
Do you think the Eagles were a top 5 defense last year?
I think
they weren't statistically one.
See, I completely am an opposite of where you and John are with that run defense. I got a concern on that because
you're kind of winning me over on that. I heard you talk about that a little earlier in the show. Sorry to cut you off, but you were like, "Well, why is it not a concern? Every time they got beat in the run, they got destroyed in the game."
Yeah.
So that's a fair concern to me. I think I get where you're coming from with that.
Well, and here's why it's important for you to have a great run defense. What's the number one thing that the Philadelphia Eagles struggled with offensively? Winning first and second down.
Right.
Don't you think that if you have a good run defense and you're keeping offenses in 3rd and long, doesn't that give you a better chance to win?
Absolutely. I mean, the reason I asked you that was just because I think the team can have a top 5 defense, but if the offense is you're not going to have a top 5 statistical defense if your offense can't stay on the field, dude. You're just not.
Vic's defense is really a high complex defense. You got to be a fucking smart dude to play that thing.
Well, the other part of it is and this is, for all the people who want to pay Carter.
Not everybody can play that.
But Sileo just pointed out they sucked against the run. Dude, you know who was on the field on first down last year who was abhorrent? Worst rated run defender on the football team. Worse than Moro Ujoma. Worse than all the edge rushers was Jalen Carter.
I know. He
was horrible against the run.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yep. And you know where you were beat? You were beat on Carter against the run, and you were beat on the edge until you got Phillips in there.
That's right.
And when you got Phillips in there, and get this, it kind of settled it down a little bit.
It helped it for sure.
Okay. See, Carter's got to get back to being a great run defender again. Dude, I'm trying to win. Hey, if you're trying to win first and second down, Zander, on offense, Aren't you trying to win first and second down on defense?
Hell yeah.
Okay. And that to me, if they fix that up and Davis continues to improve and Carter gets better and that thing gets in near 10 instead of 22 against the run, you'll have a top 5 defense.
Well, to me, what you said there is true, but it's also not a perfect seesaw. Like, hear me out. The offense wants to win first and second down. The defense wants to win first. We both agree on that. But who do you trust more if you don't win first and second down? Vic Fangio's pass defense or the Eagles' passing offense that has to get them out of a third and long? I'll take Vic.
No, Vic's going to get me out of third.
That's what I mean. So, like, the defense has a little more leeway.
Well, yeah, because they've got an experienced coordinator, and this is why I talk to you all the time.
Too.
Yeah, but this is why I always talk to you about having answers. Vic's got answers for third and long. Nick doesn't. That's why, like you said, he can get a. Oh, wait a minute. He can get a
on Nick. Why is that on Nick?
Hold on. Vic, you agree? Vic can get away with the 22nd run defense because you know why? He's going to do something in the scheme and with the players and putting him in.
Yeah, but dude, Vic doesn't always have a great defense without great players.
I understand that, but they do.
Right. So why, when you look at the third down offense, do you say Nick needs to have answers? Where are the players in this?
Oh, yeah.
Where is Jalen Hurts in this?
Well, what was the one comment I've been making? I think your offense is overrated.
Well, I'm fine with that comment, but if you just said it, Nick has no answers on third. That's what you just said.
Right. Okay.
All right.
So wait a minute. Wait. You have a quarterback that won the Super Bowl MVP. You can't put him in a position to succeed.
Do you think the quarterback's great in throwing the ball when it's third and long?
I don't think the quarterback is great at all in the pocket.
So how much harder does that make Nick Sirianni's job?
Okay, so the quarterback and the head coach have no answers.
Oh, come on, Sileo.
Okay, well then what? What's the answer?
Well,
I'm looking for the answer here.
Is it harder to come up with an answer on third and long when you struggle to pass the football? Right.
Completely.
Okay.
Well, then that goes back to Howie. Remember, you get Jimmy's and Joe's.
Is it Howie? Well, I mean, if you want to rip him for paying the quarterback,
it's either personnel, the coach, the scheme.
It's to me, it's the quarterback. It's one person. We're going to sit here and say Howie Roseman didn't have the good pass catchers?
Wait,
didn't have good enough pass catchers last year?
So I think it's interesting because it counters Marshall here. So you think Nick has more answers than Jalen does in a huddle?
You say that one more time.
Do you think in a huddle that Nick would have more answers on how to get in and out of a play than what Hurts has on getting in and out of a play and a successful one? You think Nick knows more about how to have a winning play than Hurts?
Yeah, but I think it's more about the style. Like, yes,
well, Nick has to fit his play to that style.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what for example?
So that's Nick with an answer.
Compare Nick, though, to these other offensive coaches. Yet none of these other offensive coaches feel as though they have a deficiency in throwing the football when it's third and long. They don't have a half a playbook.
Okay.
So just to me, it's harder for Nick. Now,
it's harder for Nick.
It's not an excuse. He still has to do it, but I just think, when your quarterback struggles to throw the ball, third and long is always going to suck. And it's not so much on the head coach. For example, what do you think Sean McVay would do in third and long in Philadelphia with Jalen Hurts as his quarterback?
I think he'd throw a check down.
All right. And would you rip him for not having answers?
Well, no, because Brady would look like this. I want to learn to live to play another down, and I want to work and use my other part of my team like Brady did. Bro, how many times do you hear Brady say in a game?
I get it.
Throw the high percentage pass. punting is not bad. You got a good one too. That's field position. I want to show you, this is what you're saying about Nick. Okay. Here's what Nick has to take out of his play calling every game. Slants, drags, digs, seams, meshes, and angle or Texas passes. Every single one of those, those are all crossing routes across the middle of the field. Every single one of those passes are not in the Philadelphia Eagle playbook. Drags, digs, post, seams, crossing, meshes, angles, or Texas routes. He's got none of those. Can you imagine calling plays? Like, get this. You imagine having a compass with only north and west on it and trying to figure out how to fucking sail the seas and get home. That's what he has to do.
I know. Maybe one day you'll give Nick some credit.
Okay. Well, then here's where my problem with Nick comes in. Well, let me hire a fucking Seaman Bowman and put that guy fucking on my guy who's never called a fucking or behind a wheel of a ship. And now you're putting that guy at the head of my boat who's never fucking sailed a boat before.
In Philadelphia, I'm going to simplify my fandom. I want my running backs to be great at running the football. I want my wide receivers to be great at catching the football. I want my offensive linemen to be great at blocking. I want my cornerbacks to be great at coverage. I want my linebackers to be great downhill players and surveyors of the field and leaders of the defense. You know what? I want my quarterback to be a great distributor and thrower of the football, Sileo. Let's simplify this thing.
All right. If I told you that this coming year that Devontae Smith will have 62 catches for 795 yards and 8 touchdowns, what would you say to that?
Devontae Smith?
Yeah.
Quarterback's getting going at the end of the year and the coach is fired.
Well, wait a minute. You want to run a spread offense here. You got to spread it around here.
How much spreading do you think they're going to be doing?
Like butter on a piece of bread. Like butter on a piece of bread.
Oh man, I need the season to get here, man. These fans are gonna have my head on a platter. Oh my gosh.
We got Mike North coming up at 4:30.
I know. Let me send him the link before you.
And we also got Philly Godfather hasn't been on in a while. Will be with us at 5:30. We'll see if the odds of the Eagles winning the Super Bowl has changed in any way. I got another question here for you, brother. How much impact will How much impact will the new generation of Eagle players play a role in 26?
How much impact will what? The new Eagles?
The new generation, like Hunt, Akuba, the Lemon, Stowers, Bell, all your new faces. How much of your new generation of Eagle players going to play into your 26th season?
I think a lot.
A lot.
Well, do you consider Jalen Carter new gen?
He's been here 3 years. Kind of, a little bit.
He's going into 4. I mean, well, you put Jalix Hunt in there. He's going into year 3.
All right.
So where's the cutoff?
How do you think Jalix Hunt's performed in 3 years?
Solid for a 3rd-round pick, ascending.
Okay. How do you think Jalen Carter?
By the way, the people in the chat are saying it's going to spread like frozen butter on frozen bread.
Oh, my God. How do you think Jalen Carter's played in 3 years?
Take a loaf out of the freezer and try and spread some butter on that thing. I think Jalen Carter has been a letdown. 2 years have been underwhelming. Well, I don't think his first year was underwhelming.
No. I think he ran out of gas.
Yeah. Last year was underwhelming.
You think Howie Roseman can keep winning the way he's winning with losing all of these players like he's done the last 3 years?
Yeah, but I think there's going to be some change coming in Philly soon. Like, remember, we went from a Super Bowl team in the Doug era with Carson, and we flipped it over and got back to a Super Bowl. I still have all the faith in Howie's a great GM. Great. And even better than he ever was. Getting better. But I don't think I think he's also smarter than a lot of people in this chat. And I think he knows in the next 5 years, they're not going to win the same way they won the last 5 years. And by the way, I think that's true for most NFL teams.
Yeah. Let me take a look at something here for the Eagles here before I ask this question. Eagles year to year. How many times have you done this? Year to year. Let me see something here. In the last how many years have you had losing seasons? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 years ago, you had a 4-11. Then 1, 2, 3. You had 2 7-9 seasons. I'm assuming that was Chip. That was Doug's first year and then Chip. So really in the last 10 years, you've had 3 losing seasons. Am I right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You've had 1 losing season in 10 years. Do you believe you're closer to a 4-win season or a Super Bowl?
I think still Super Bowl. Still Super Bowl. I mean, I think they're teetering in the middle. So, that thing can tip you one way.
Maybe not a 4-win, but a losing.
Yeah, I don't think.
Are you closer to a losing season or a Super Bowl champion?
You're talking about Nick Sirianni. This guy's never had a losing season as a head coach. He took a 4-win team to the playoffs with a first-year starting quarterback. You're talking about the greatness of Nicholas Sirianni.
And Marsh, this guy just won't stop.
I can't believe you have turned me in. By the way, the funniest thing is you asked me to do my top 10 coaches. I didn't even have Nick on my top 10. He's like 13 or 14.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm not. Tank Bigsby role this year will be what in 2026? Will he have one?
Mild, not much bigger than last year. I mean, when you're paying a running back $20 million, you don't put him on the bench. Maybe a little bit more because Sean Mannion might like the versatility with the 2 backs, but I'm not expecting a much bigger role than what he had last year. Which what do you have, 200-300 yards somewhere in that range? Yeah, I think that's probably appropriate for Tank.
What Eagle are you looking forward to watching the most this season outside the quarterback?
Carter's up there. Cooper and Quinion are tandem together just because I've really enjoyed watching those 2 guys the last 2 years. And I think both of them are going to be paid for the long term in Philadelphia. And then maybe Devontae Smith.
That's mine.
I mean, Devontae Smith, how are you going to handle being the one? How are you going to handle all the attention? How are you going to, handle being the leadership perspective, aspect of it?
He's going to change. He has a chance to change the narrative on him.
Well, I don't think the narrative's bad on him. I think he's been crippled by the environment.
Well, I think being drafted 10th overall and then the following year them going and getting AJ, not a good look.
That's true. So you think the narrative is that he's a great receiver? He's not a true one.
Yeah.
He could definitely change that narrative.
Now, yeah, and plus, I hope they move him around. Like they put him in the slot. They move him left. They move him.
He's got a 3-year window where he's got to go and dominate. You want to change the narrative? Go dominate.
Look,
the next 2
all the things you talk about, intangibles. There's another guy with intangibles. Works hardworking, and by the way, more durable than I thought.
Yeah, but it's funny because
I thought he was going to be Jameson Williams. Like that kind of hurt all the time. You know what I mean?
Never. I mean, I think he's only missed a few games, but
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Devontae has a bright future, but I just, what do you think what do you think the perception of him would be if he was drafted to Kansas City?
JSN.
I don't like credit. I mean, I think Devontae is as talented as it gets,
He'd beat Jamar Chase. No, I don't think he's as.
Wait, is LeBron James coming to Philly? Is that going to happen? I heard he's out there teasing now. Did you hear him today? He was talking. He's like, got to trust the process. He said it like 3 times. Is he trolling Philly?
Hey, did you see what the commissioner said? The commissioner said that they're holding up the schedule of the NBA until LeBron makes his choice.
Is that right?
They're not releasing the schedule. But I wonder if the commissioner and New York is pushing him to go to Philly, because guess what you would have? Celtics, Sixers, and Knicks.
Ooh,
hey, now you're talking about big TV markets. Hey, dude, one thing this week has really I think really, if anything, Philadelphia Eagle fans, they really have rallied around one thing here this week. I got to tell you, that 17th rating for Hurts and that 22nd rating for Smitty, executives in the NFL, they don't see it. And I think they're wrong. I think they're wrong.
Smitty's rating is directly correlated with the quarterback. Anybody who disagrees with that, I think, is insane.
So you think Justin Jefferson having a guy like Cousins, he did for them in the last couple years, one of the reasons why he's dropped is because of J.J. McCarthy being in that building. I agree.
Well, definitely.
If he's got a competent quarterback.
J.J. McCarthy, he'll never see that. I don't know that he'll ever see the field.
You know what A.J. Brown said with this whole mess that he created? As you can tell, his status as a wide receiver has dropped, even with the winning. And it bugged him more than anything else that how people's perception of him was that he's not a top 10 type wide receiver in the NFL any longer, because guess why? He plays in a fucked up system in Philly, and he wanted out.
Well, it's also like even like, what would you say Jalen's best traits are? Jalen Hurts' best traits are passing the football. No, I don't want to hear running. I don't want to hear intent. His best traits passing the football are what? I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
Why did it work well with him and A.J. Brown?
Because A.J. was a great player.
Okay, that's a fine answer. But to me, it's when there's one-on-one coverage, I think Jalen can give you the good deep ball. He can give you the opportunity to go and win the one-on-one battle. That works with A.J.'s skill set.
Okay.
Like Devontae's skill set would thrive with a quarterback like a Matthew Stafford, even a Brock Purdy. Because when you're a great route
so you're
runner,
saying one-on-one balls.
When you're a great route runner, though, you have a split-second moment where you beat your quarterback, and that ball comes your way, boom, you can win.
That's right.
That's not really Jalen. Like, he's not a timing thrower. So it really contradicts the skill set of Devontae Smith, in my opinion.
I want to back you up on something you said to John. You said this.
As long as you don't reference the Damo interview this morning, I'll know what you're talking about.
Don't worry, I won't. Listen, this is to me. This is to me where you're right. When somebody's not focused on something, doesn't that lead to your effort? When you're not focused on something, and it could lead to you looking like you're loafing. If I'm not engaged in something, I'm not trying hard.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I mean,
me and John had this debate.
He may not think he's loafing, but if I don't give a shit about a route and I'm not engaged in that route, okay, well, I'm not giving max effort.
Yeah, but remember, there are, like, you have heard Hall of Fame receivers who are like, dude, you just
Randy Moss does that all the time.
Yeah, like, you just don't run 100 every route. You just don't.
Well, Michael Irvin said that.
Yeah, so I think there's some nuance to it. But when you're in a fucking playoff game and the ball's coming your way and you're loafing, yeah, I got a big problem with that.
Well, here was Randy Moss's big thing. He'd tip off plays. And I think that AJ was tipping plays off because when the play wasn't coming front
Right,
side,
his ass was loafing.
His
Well, to
ass-
be fair, wait. Let me just defend AJ for a second. To be fair, it wasn't all that tough to tip off plays in that Eagles offense.
no.
Hey man, they're either throwing it to the outside the numbers or they're running the ball inside zone. You tell me.
Don't you agree that Nick Sirianni's at fault for last year's offensive passing attack?
What?
Yeah. He's at complete fault. 100%.
By definition, he is because he's the head coach.
And he hired Patullo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he's not qualified.
I disagree.
You thought Kevin Patullo was qualified?
Was Kellen Moore qualified? Why'd his passing attack suck?
Kellen Moore was qualified.
Wait. Why did Kellen Moore's passing attack suck?
Kellen Moore was a qualified offensive coordinator. He had answers.
I agree. But why did his passing attack suck?
Because the quarterback sucked.
Okay. That doesn't apply to his successor?
But he had answers. They won a Super Bowl.
Nick had answers.
Oh, Nick did.
Nick made Kellen change. Kellen didn't want to play that brand of
football. What did he fall? It looks to me like Nick got hit in the head with a bottle too at that parade too.
I don't know how much more. This should be pretty easy to spell out for everybody. The quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles has to play better football. The offense sucks. You can blame every coach you want. You'll be blaming them for a long time. If the quarterback doesn't play like an elite player, the offense is going to struggle, especially passing the football. Or if you have no belief in that, which is, I'm sure some people do have no belief, you better hope you better hope them stem cells work.
Oh my God, dude. I don't see really this offense this year. I just don't. I'm sorry.
Look, Jalen, here's the thing. I mean,
and by the way, everybody,
I think Jalen's got to play better, but at the same time, I've seen Jalen play better football. Now, it feels like it was an eternity ago, but I've seen him play better football than he's played.
You think they'd let him play the full year?
Yeah. Remember, even if they have to make a decision at the end of the year that would upset a certain portion of the fan base, they're not going to destroy the trade value.
No.
No.
Do you think they would draft a quarterback in the 2027 draft?
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to draft a guy in the top 3 rounds?
If I had to pick right now, yeah. But if Jalen has a great year, then no. They're going to pay
him. Nowhere on the planet.
Can we do the super chats? Well, yesterday I didn't have the opportunity to
I don't think you had the strength
to smack Marshall.
I don't think you had the strength
back and forth like a freaking bobblehead. Today I'll have the opportunity. Here's March. Zander is definitely in the Nickites group. I mean, Nick can do no wrong. Z might be his mascot. Marsh, the quarterback has to play better, dude. I don't know how else to slice it to you. All right? Nick has overseen a pretty winning group. And you give Jalen credit for that, don't you, Marsh?
He's Nickites.
Now, you got to – all right, look, if you love Jalen – if you love Jalen, it's fine. I'm not mad at you.
Wait, our channel's responsible for Jalenites.
Yes, but here's the thing. I'm okay if you're a Marshall head and you love Jalen Hurts. I seriously, it doesn't bother me. I don't really care. You got to be consistent, though. If you give Jalen Hurts credit for all the winning that's happened in Philly the last 4 years, you by default have no choice, Marsh. You must extend that credit to Nick Sirianni. If you don't, then you're just inconsistent and your word is no longer all that.
Hold on. Do you think that players and a team can win in spite of their coach?
Say that again.
Do you think a team loaded with talent can win in spite of their coach?
Sure.
Okay. So when you had Del Harris with the Lakers, and you had Rudy Tomjanovich, and that he couldn't.
Don't use basketball.
Hold on, they couldn't get him.
Basketball's a different fucking
You
game.
had Kobe and Shaq.
Basketball's a superstar.
All of a sudden, they bring Phil in. Phil has answers. They win the NBA championship 3 years in a row.
That's a bad comp.
Oh,
it's a bad comp.
Okay, it's a bad comp. So when Matthew Stafford was, let's see here, when Sean McVay was looking at the landscape in his Rams, and he went, this guy Jared Goff is not good enough to win me a Super Bowl. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go get the guy in Detroit and bring that guy's ass an upgrade.
Boy,
forget something. Jared Goff was the number 1 overall selection.
I don't ever want to hear a hypothetical again of what McVay would do with Hurts, because he would have traded them 4 years ago.
He would never
traded Jared Goff, and they went to a Super Bowl together.
Right. He would never have.
Here's Cal. What underdog said? How is that possible nowadays? I assume you're referring to the 2 inept halves of football. I think one of them was actually -1 yard, so it wasn't even 0.
Was that the Bucs game?
I forget. I don't know. I don't want to remember. Don't make me look it up. Here's Marshall. That win percentage belongs to Howie, and you know it, Zay. All right, so stop giving it to the quarterback, Marsh. Be consistent, dude. You're like all over the fucking map. It's like playing darts on a world map with you, dude. You're all over the yard, Marsh. Here's Marsh again. Howie has had all the answers that Nick hasn't. Nick is a caboose, you Nickites. You can make the same argument about that quarterback. I mean, the guy threw 2,900 yards in the Super Bowl winning year. I mean, come on. 22, Jalen was the leader and was the reason they were there.
See how he makes you start talking shit on Hurts and you don't want to?
Yes, he does. He does. Nickites assemble. Go, Zander, go. I'm not a Nickite. I got him like the top 15 coach, and maybe a little higher, maybe like 12. Here's Marsh. Zander, why did Kyle Shanahan beat our ass with McCaffrey at quarterback? That's a coach that has answers. No excuses, bro. Kyle Shanahan would have traded your boyfriend 3 years ago. Marsh said, Zay, why don't you want your coach to be a good play caller? You left that out. I would like him to be a good play caller. That's a fair call out of Nick. He's never been a great play caller. Kyle
no. He's never been a good play caller with that dude.
Yeah, right. Was he a good – well, did he call plays with Phillip?
Yeah.
But
had career years.
Phillip controls
career years.
Well, I can't believe these people and what they say about this coach. Here's Kyle. What's up, Kyle? Shouldn't the expectation of Mekhi Lemon to have a rookie year like Lamb or JSN, because they were drafted around the same area? Well, JSN didn't have that great of a rookie year.
Well, you know.
What did JSN do his rookie year?
Well, remember, you had DK Metcalf on the other side, too.
All right, Kyle, sure. I'm good with JSN. He had 63 catches for 628 yards.
Yeah. That's about right.
Kimberly says, World Cup taught me one thing. All sports have parity. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't watched one game. Yeah. Other than that, the game the USA got blown out of the water.
I can't watch dudes throwing themselves on the ground like somebody shot them like a sniper in the stands.
It's odd.
I mean.
Here's Marsh. If the head coach's only answer is a tush push and 4 verts, the offense will suck too, Zander. Here's Kyle. Sirianni is more like a modern-day Jim Lee Howell. Had great coordinators around him, Lombardi and Landry.
That's an old-school guy that, get this, Lombardi was the O coordinator and Tom Landry was the D coordinator, and this guy was sitting around smoking Pall Malls. And he was just sitting around smoking cigarettes, dude. When you got Lombardi and Tom Landry as your coordinators, yeah, man, that's about right. Jim Lee Howell went to 6 conference championship games, too.
Kyle, let's come to the 21st century. Thank you, dude. Here's Marsh. That's a lie. I give Hurts shit, too. No, you don't, Marsh. Stop.
Hey, you know what I did say, Jason Cole, before we get Mike North on? You know what I did say? George Halas was so overrated, it's disgusting.
Yeah, I heard you say that.
Yeah.
Here's a great comment. Philly for lifer with a rational take. Nick is a leader of men. I would love him to be a play-calling head coach so we don't have a carousel of offensive coordinators, but I'm happy with what he brought to Philly. You said it better than I could, for life.
He should be over there at the museum next to the Rocky statue. What are you going to put? A Nick Sirianni statue up next to the Rocky statue, too?
All right, so if they had to put up one statue in Philadelphia for the last 4 years, well, and you don't say a fucking suit. Tell me who it would be. They got Doug and Nick Foles for the previous Super Bowl.
Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson. I can't put a stiff arm quarterback out front of the museum.
Get me off here, please. Mike Miller, save me. Get me off here.
One more here. Nick Blows. How you doing? All right. Hey, Z. Next week, dude. 49ers reported today. Yesterday, Seahawks, dude. We're rolling there, right?
Dude, I don't even want to be this mean to the team. What is it? Is it you? Is it you that makes me?
No. Whoa. Now, you know what? I just throw questions out. People get pissed off. You know what people hate? The truth. They hate the truth. They'd rather be lied to in life.
I think you hate the truth when it comes to Nick.
You hear that, Marsh?
I'm just saying, people give Jalen all this credit for all the wins. That's fine. But if you're going to do that, then you got to give the coach some credit too. I mean, you don't win 50 games or whatever it is, 700% with a shoddy coach.
Hire another incompetent guy as coordinator. All right. I'm like, yeah.
With what? What are you calling him? The 17th ranked quarterback, right?
Yeah, you give the 17th ranked quarterback a guy who's never called plays.
Boy, this GM, he's got like the Infinity Stone.
Sounds brilliant to me. Let me get the 17th ranked quarterback, the worst coordinator in the league. Here, good luck. I mean, you're not helping Hurts. Have a good week.
I'll talk to you on Monday. Don't text me. Don't call me. I don't want to hear from you. All right. I'll talk to you on Monday.
All right, dude. I love you, man. I'll talk to you
later, dude.
That is my guy. Yeah, I said something to Jason Cole, the Hall of Fame voter, about we were talking about the top 5 coaches of all time. And I said this about Hallis. How do you not go to the playoffs without Butkus and Sayers? I mean, and by the way, they were drafted in the same stupid class. How do you not go to the playoff? I don't believe Dick Butkus ever played in the playoffs in his entire brilliant career. I mean, you're talking about one of the 5 most significant players in the history of the league. Dick Butkus is one of them. He's one of them. Actually, Chicago's had 2 of them. And by the way, Hallis was an old school Al Davis. Okay? That's what he kind of was to me. I'll tell you what, I saw a lot of tweets with Mike. Mike North had a really great time watching that All-Star game, and he really loved watching the home run derby. Without further ado, Mr. Chicago himself shows up here. He is our friend Mike North, one of the legendary sports talkers. And boy, I'll tell you what, man, you were all in. You were all in on watching on Netflix the home run derby and the All-Star game. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good, Dad. Good to talk to you. Good to talk to everybody once again every Friday. Don't forget 3:30, everybody, 3:30, and we go, and I always loved it, and I retweet all the cuts when Danny's show.
Do, man.
Whoever the producer is over there, thank you for cutting up my segment, because it does a lot for me also, as well as the station here, and getting a lot of good response. It's all good. Everything's good. The Netflix deal was a bust, like I predicted. I did a video on North to North, NORTH, the number 2 NORTH, and that video was about the 5-6 things wrong with baseball. One of them was being greedy, and the players, I would not accept the salary cap now that the players don't get a cut of any of the app money as of yet, and they will soon. I've been through 9 stoppages. That's how many there have been in Major League Baseball, and I've seen every one of them. And I've been half and half. Half the time I was with the owners, half the time I was with the players. It depended how the numbers laid out to me. I'm with the players all the way here. Don't ever sign a salary cap deal. The owner, they make so much money. They have 82 sellouts a year. Imagine having a Broadway show and knowing you were going to have, like, even if you don't sell out the stadium, they got all money coming in. They got 10 different uniforms now. They fly first class. They make more money than God. Now they got these apps, which is tied in with gambling, Dan, because the people that watched Netflix the other night were the guys that put 5,000 on a guy to watch, to hit the most homers, the guy that maybe put 50 down, the guy that put 25 down. So that is what's exploded it's been a partnership between Major League Baseball, the apps, and gambling. And it's worked out until the other night perfectly. And I knew it would be a bust because I would not love baseball if I would have had to go to my dad and say, Dad, I need this much money to watch a home run derby. The fans built the game. They're forgetting about the fans, so I don't care what happens to the game right now, to be honest with you. Finish out this season, and God bless them. They're all dumbasses.
How about this, Mike? The Padres sold for $3.9 billion.
Yep.
And get this. Ron Fowler and his group with Peter Seidler bought the team for $700 million. I mean, that's almost the same contract that Shohei Ohtani signed with the Dodgers now. So don't tell me there's no money in baseball.
It's a joke. The New York Yankees.
The Padres sold for almost $4 billion.
The Yankees were bought by Steinbrenner for $10 million, and they were sold for $10 billion.
Yeah.
Or whatever, or they're worth $10 billion. So that's what I meant. So what I'm going to tell everybody is this. Don't feel sorry for either side, but I pity the guys that play baseball because they lose time. And if you don't think, they're not thinking about it right now. But the money they're making now, is it worth them taking away a year for sure of their career? And then, I don't want to hear when baseball comes back, oh, thank God something happened, like when Ripken had the streak. He saved baseball. Sosa and McGuire, they saved baseball. What a joke that was. Baseball will always be around, and it won't be because of 1, 2, or 3 players. It's a great game. The fans forgive, but this has gone a bridge too far where I got DirecTV, and I'm supposed to get every game, and my brother's got the Major League package, and half the games are blacked out. So he just canceled. And if I'm supposed to get every game, why do I got to go to Apple? Or why do I have to go here? So I'm waiting for a class action suit to hit baseball soon by some fan who's got enough moxie, to say, we're all getting screwed here. The fans getting screwed and they're greedy.
Mike, what about 27 strikeouts in the All-Star game?
Oh, it's pitiful. It's pitiful. You have one team in the American League. One team. You have a stenographer for this program because this should be right out there. I'm telling you right now. You have one team hitting over 250 in the American League, Tampa Bay. And I saw where a guy hit for the cycle for the Chicago White Sox and the manager benched him the next night after making the All-Star team, Tristan Peters. I see things in baseball. I just don't know what happened to the game where you're giving guys, I don't care what the ERA is, Paul Skeens, 10-10, and you get the Cy Young Award. I don't care what kind of team you played on. Tom Seaver played on one of the worst teams in baseball history and elevated them. He didn't complain about one of the worst lineups in history, the 69 Mets. Just check their lineup up. You wouldn't.
Check out the 1973 Mets that went to the series against the A's.
Right.
They were 82 in 81. And they beat that Reds team because of Seaver being on that team.
Tom Seaver is overlooked so badly in baseball. And I'm part of that problem because I think we took him. He pitched in Chicago for the White Sox, won his 300th game with Carlton Fisk catching.
Against
that
Yankees,
was awesome.
Against the Yankees.
Yeah, I just think, like I brought up last week, this Kyler Teal that plays for the White Sox. He's a catcher. I go, oh, I guess he's coming back, and my partner says, yeah, he's 2 above WAR, 2 above WAR. I go, excuse me. He goes, I go, he's hitting 211. With 2 homers and 11 RBIs. I don't want to hear 2 wins above replacement, which most teams put in front of batting average now or OPS because they're ashamed that they've been bringing in guys that play with aluminum bats.
Yeah.
People have not made. I know a guy that works for the Hoosier Bat Company. He says, Mike, you got much more of a base with aluminum bats than you do with a wood bat in some areas. In the juice part. It's a transition. So not everybody's able to make the transition. And when they do, they're not as good as they were in college. Robin Ventura was the college player of the decade with Oklahoma State.
Yep.
Had a 58-game hitting streak. He was good when he got to the majors, but he wasn't, the cream of the crop. So there's always things that can happen in baseball. That's what makes baseball great. But the games become a joke. And then, thanks for reminding me. I'm going to tell you, why do I have to look at Alex Rodriguez? Why do I have to look? And I don't care, folks, what you think of him. It doesn't matter. Here's the thing.
Mike, he hit 692 home runs, though.
Yeah, he's one of the serial cheaters, an arch criminal of Major League Baseball history. And I got to turn on the TV, and this is 50% of this country can't stand him. I just looked up 2 polls on Alex Rodriguez. Why would you put that? I'm sorry. He lied. He was part of a clinic that covered up the Texas Rangers scandal.
Balco.
Biogenesis.
Okay.
Biogenesis. And then he had a federal investigation on him. He was suspended for 211 games, and then they said, no, we'll only make it 162. Why? He should have been expelled. And now I got to look at him on baseball.
Cost him his 700th home run, too.
That's too bad. He shouldn't have had 550 probably. So when I see Bonds up there and then they bring Bonds on the home run derby, it's filled with like Superman's arch enemies got their own show. You know what I mean? They ruined the records in baseball. Bonds was a serial cheater. Everybody knows it. You got A-Rod and then Big Pappy. I'm sorry.
But Mike, let me ask you this then: why are you?
And they're Yankees and Red Sox. Why do we have to just look at them?
Mike, hang on. Why are you hating the player and not the game?
Because the player's the guy.
The game allowed it.
Oh, don't play that. Don't play.
They did not have a performance enhancing test until 2007.
Yeah, but it was a federal offense before then. Number one, if you were
98. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So now what? Now remember who you're talking to now.
Yeah, I know.
Because I'm going to try to keep up with you.
Steroids and human growth are 2 different things. They're not the same.
Look. We could play the gray area game all day long.
I'm not playing the gray. They sell testosterone
after they put the steroid tests in. By the way, or he still committed offenses.
He did.
Till 2015. So the argument is nil.
Almero, all them guys did after that.
Oh, that whole team. And then that whole team was, listen, if that team didn't have money, and now I hear $100 million isn't enough for an NBA player to live on.
Do you believe the rumors on Big Papi then too being a steroider?
You know what? I will tell you this. I won't say I believe him, but I won't say I disbelieve him. That's all. I mean, and then Derek Jeter brings nothing. The 3 guys, if you got rid of those guys tomorrow, if you got rid of Big Papi.
You call him Derek Cheater?
No. Derek Jeter. You got Derek Jeter. You got Big Papi and A-Rod. I'll tell you right now, I hang out all the time with people. They don't want to see him on TV. Who asked for him? Why is he and then Ohtani? Oh, you got me going now. You see that one thing that you said, though? Okay. Remember, that's how Italians are. You know that thing you said over there. Remember over by here?
Yeah.
Okay, but you went over by there, and then by here you came over to me.
Yeah, I got you. I told
you. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Here, I got it. I know. We're good.
All I'm going to say is, why does Ohtani? He's playing tonight against the Yankees. He didn't go to the All-Star festivities. There wasn't a thing wrong with him. They let the guy off the hook. He's going to DH tonight, okay? And nobody even mentions it. When we were younger, if Mantle and Mays didn't play in the game like Judge and Ohtani did the other night, it would have been like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, but wait, Mike, don't you want those? Isn't there loyalty toward their teams and not the All-Star game? Or do you think it's more loyalty to the game that you're pissed off at?
I think it's both. I think that Ohtani not going to Philadelphia, and Judge not even coming to the red carpet thing, which is another thing for another day. Just put your uniform on, go out and play. I don't want to see you walk down with your. I saw more of Mike Trout's kid than Mike Trout. Okay, you know what I mean? I think that the kid looks just like him. I'm spooked. Okay, but Judge and Ohtani should have been there. But we have a weak commissioner. Period. You can't. Ohtani's playing tonight. Now Judge at least has a fractured rib.
He does.
He's actually hurt.
He is.
Yeah.
Oh, so you think Ohtani sandbagged it?
Oh, yeah, come on. He's playing tonight, DH. And his knee is sore. -2. I woke up this morning and got out of bed.
Mike, I'm going to shift you to football here.
I love when you do that. You know that. I wait for it. Look at when you grit your teeth. Yeah, that's it. You're breaking your knuckles.
I got to tell you here, NFL executives came out this week.
I thought.
Wait a second. Not guys like me.
No.
They executives, Mike, GMs,
yeah,
scouts. And they said this about your boy Jalen Hurts. He's the 17th best quarterback in pro football. We don't really think much of his skill set. We love his intangibles, like you always talk about.
Yeah.
But what does that say when general managers and scouts don't think this guy's a top 15 quarterback?
He beat most of them. I mean, winning isn't everything. Like I tweeted out the other night when I saw it, and I also love the Sam Darnold being 1 and Hurts winning 76% being 2. Winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. And that to be or not to be used to be my favorite quote until Vince Lombardi came up with that one. I never cared about statistics. I'm reading now that Caleb Williams, who finished 16th this year as a quarterback, is going to be one of the top 3 quarterbacks in football this year. And I would say this, I'd take the field against that.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I'm saying, Dan? I'd take the field, to be honest, folks. That's what we do. We tell the truth, like Dan said earlier. We ain't playing games here.
No.
Caleb Williams is not a top 3 quarterback in football right now. Just look at the top 3 quarterbacks in football.
I think he's a top 10 talent, not a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah, but if he gets 15 or better, I'll be happy. And the Bears win. That's it.
I think if that kid can come in and improve that completion percentage and get it up there at 62,
I'm with you.
He'll be an electric football player.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's all about winning at the end of the day.
Something else that everyone is anticipating now.
Okay.
I want you to put
the
on.
The World Cup's over?
No, not that.
Oh, okay.
Thing.
Not that big.
One more game.
All right.
Where does the greatest NBA player land? Does he go to Philly? Does he go to Cleveland? Does he go to Miami? He's been now flirting around with the process, talking about potentially Philly. Where does the GOAT, LeBron James, play in 26?
I cannot believe a league is waiting to release its Christmas schedule.
I can't believe I heard him say that.
For a guy who's still very good, speaking of steroids, maybe, the rumored use.
Good.
There's been rumors about him. He hurt his back when they were testing, and he was out for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and didn't come back. So, I mean, I know everything, folks.
Does that apply to Brady, too?
Yeah. Well, how about this? Well, it might. Documentary on LeBron James made by LeBron James. I can make a documentary to make me look like St. Michael, but I know I would be lying if I make it myself, okay? So this all sports is so pissed. I mean, I'm watching Jordan Spieth today. Then we'll get to LeBron.
British Open.
I'm watching. I bet him today. Now, I've been doing good in matchup golf, but I bet him against Matsuyama. Matsuyama beat him. Then I said to myself, how stupid are you? And then I hear people say on TV, or people on social media, you know what? I didn't know this guy, or I didn't know that, because the Golf Channel forgot to tell everybody, including Jordan Spieth, he was finished 5 years ago. 5 years ago. Shut up about Jordan Spieth. It's not 2015, 2016. They latch on to these guys, and then they go, well, I didn't know about this guy. Because you're still talking about Tiger and Phil and Spieth and Bubba Watson. Enough, right? I'm not kidding. I'm watching Jordan Spieth today. He missed a 3-foot putt. What I'm saying is some guys get too much hype, and he's the king of it right now, along with LeBron James. LeBron James is a heck of a player. He's a guy that really realized his potential right out of high school, and he made it even bigger. But he's been ring chasing. He's a guy that I heard today, the commissioner, one of the weakest human beings on the planet, okay, say, well, we have to, yeah, that's right, it's my nerd voice. Well, what we have to do is wait for LeBron before we make our Christmas. Are you kidding me? There's that guy. Michael Jordan was the league, but he wasn't bigger than the league. He's gone and the league goes on. You're waiting for one player when there's better players in the league? Are you out of your minds? And then you know what won't be in the documentary? The Rachel hoaxes, the Chinese infatuation, the bringing your son into a organization and giving him a team. Okay, there'll be 7, 8 things that will not be in that documentary. Believe me when I tell you this, folks.
So wait, we're gonna see The Last Dance, but we're gonna see the next.
He's had a documentary team follow him for 10 years.
So the Next Dance. This is what this is gonna be called,
right?
Because he's got to take up. He's got a copy of Seal Jordan, so he's gonna go. This is the Next Dance.
I got to tell you, Dan. Last year, the average NFL game on Christmas Day averaged 20. Well, people go, Mike, there's no teleprompter. That's right. There isn't. I know this. Okay. Last year, the NFL games averaged 23.5 million views, people watching.
Yes.
With Detroit, which used to be the dog game on Thanksgiving, averaging 28 million. Okay. And I got to read Adam Silver say, well, we got to wait for LeBron. And the games, including LeBron's, average 6 million. The little pimple on your ass, that's the NBA. And LeBron had 8 million against Kansas City's 23 million. I'm sorry, if Jordan was in his prime and it's Kansas City versus Denver against the Bulls with Jordan back in the day, they got a battle then, but not with LeBron.
Michael Jordan's putting 23 million.
Absolutely. He was doing Chicago. I had a restaurant owner. He wanted to really seriously, he wanted to step in front
Jordan
of a train.
Was putting 20 million a show on. It was, no.
Dan, I had a restaurant owner when the Bulls were at home or they were on TV on Tuesday nights.
No way.
Okay. His restaurants, he just wanted to run, just get in front of a train. He had a better chance of survival than his restaurant doing any business on a night the Bulls were on.
No way.
Okay. Nobody went out. Nobody, especially the big games.
That's why when you're in Chicago during that time, there wasn't a restaurant that didn't have a TV because you dropped that game on when people would go to restaurants. I heard in Chicago.
In dining rooms they put them on.
People were watching that.
Yep.
So you mentioned the fraudulent commissioner, Adam Silver. What are you making him now stepping in on the WNBA because they can't get their shit together?
Well, I just love these women that would go around saying what kind of leaders they are, and they got Mr. Limpet, the incredible Mr. Limpet, telling them what to do because the NBA runs the show. That's it. That the NBA subsidizes the NBA. They just gave these women that my high school team would beat big time raises.
Yeah,
they're flying in charter planes, whether it's
NBA,
whether it's Caitlin Clark, and it is, or it doesn't matter. You should appreciate her more. She'd kiss her feet instead of trying to throw her into the 5th row. But here's my deal. They wouldn't survive. This is all a philosophy. This is pushed down people's throat. I see Texas versus North Carolina basketball. I run to it. And you know what's on? Texas versus North Carolina women's basketball. I don't want to watch it. I wanted to watch the guy game. Sorry, I'd rather watch better basketball. And that's just the way it is. And they're trying to shove it down our throats. And you know what? It's not working because that Netflix thing was just the beginning. Now, in the NFL, I'm sure Peacock would do well and everything else. But they were given an example the other night from, by the way, Netflix is down 11% this quarter, which is a huge drop because you know what? Nobody wants to watch it because everybody knows who runs that network, okay? And the TV viewing is horrible. So I think sports teams have to watch who they give their programs to. Somebody that knows what they're doing, because the Netflix people, they don't know what they're doing. And they screwed the pooch. And by the way, baseball did too. It should have been on free TV.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean,
yeah,
there's there's no question that the NFL. I mean, get this, this World Cup stuff too, Mike. People are going like this. Well, the World Cup's getting 18 million. Dude, Southeastern Conference and Big Ten games get 20 million, 18 million. You're not. I mean, what did you make of the whole thing? It's going to end tomorrow. It's going to be Argentina versus Spain.
Look, I don't care.
So you didn't enjoy your World Cup experience.
And it's not just against the World Cup. The other night when Home Run Derby was on, I watched Maverick on the Western Channel, 2 episodes.
You didn't watch the Home Run Derby. Why not?
Oh, you know why not. I have Netflix and I wouldn't watch it. But really, the biggest bunch of phonies around are the guys that act exuberant about the World Cup as they do about their own home football team, during the season. That to me, and I could smell them a mile away.
Is Chicago a soccer town? Do you guys?
Oh, hell. Well, we have the Fire and we have the Stars. I don't have nothing against the sport. Just don't pretend that it's anything. Don't pretend. I've been around too long, okay? That's like you walking me down to Larrabee and saying there's luxury condos. It's not going to happen, okay? I know that. You know what I'm saying? Go take me to Inglewood. They go, I have a penthouse there. You're never getting out, okay?
Hey,
you know
Mike,
what I'm saying?
This just broke.
Okay.
NFL has suspended Arizona Cardinals personnel executive Ryan Gold indefinitely for violating the NFL's gambling policy. Listen to this. The league said Friday that its investigation determined that Gold provided confidential, non-public inside information
There you go.
regarding the 2026 draft selections by the Cardinals before the picks were announced.
Of course.
And Gold also participated in parlay bets on the NFL and college games. The league didn't say who Gold had provided the information to. The gambling policy, which is annually reviewed with all NFL personnel, strictly prohibits anyone in the NFL from participating in or facilitating any form of sports gambling and from providing third parties non-public information. The NFL said in a statement, although there is no reason to believe the integrity of any NFL game was affected, the league takes any violation of the league's policy utmost serious. Can you imagine? He's telling gambling places who's injured and who's not.
Wait, these prop bets by basketball players, the individual prop bets, they're telling members of their family. And their family's going out. I don't care if they're betting $100, $1,000, $50,000. They're hiding it, whatever you have to do. Look, they got in bed.
Mike, if there's one rack, there's 10.
Huh?
If there's one rack, there's 10.
Come on. This was easy for me to predict. I did a show called the NFL Handicap Show back in 1989 when I was brokering radio in Chicago. Part of the reason I got discovered, I did it for 2.5 years. I thought I was just that gambling was around the corner. Now I know why it wasn't. You got guys in the NBA going to prison now. You got this guy, he's in big trouble, leaking it out to people, and it's going to get around. The prop bets are the worst thing to ever happen to gambling. I have not met many guys. I go, hey, how'd you make your fortune? Why prop bet? I prop bet individual player accomplishment. It's all garbage. The NFL's in bed with gambling now. Roger Goodell, add this to he's had 8 controversies, folks. Well, add this, Danny. to number 9. And you know what? He encouraged this. They want this. And now I'm hearing the NBA wants to put an NBA team in Las Vegas. So they're in all the way. They're in all the way up to their neck. And that's just the way it is.
How about Adam Schefter just came out and said that now the NFL has confirmed that the indefinite suspension of Cardinals player personnel director, Ryan Gold. He's the player personnel director.
So what he did is
director of college scouting for the Cardinals.
Okay, you know what you got to do? You got to look at their draft picks. And if there was a draft pick that was like 20-1 to go to the Cardinals instead of even money, which one do you think he would take if he was involved? The 20-1 shot.
Of course.
So that's exactly, I know the whole game, folks. You got an inside guy. Until somebody nabs them, they can run wild, and they can run wild for a long time. I don't know how long this guy was doing it, but there's no doubt as the player personnel. If you're gambling on that, you're gambling on games. You're not stopping, okay? And then you're selling your picks like a tout.
You're calling
some guy
and going, I'm taking this guy. Put $100,000 on it. I'm taking him.
How long has he been?
It doesn't say, Mike. The investigations.
Because who did they draft last year? Number 1, Marvin
kid out of Ohio State.
Marvin Harrison. Or was that the year before? It doesn't matter. His odds were like 4-1 or 5-1 which is good money. If I'm not mistaken. He was supposed to go 1, but if passed, they were looking for the Cardinals to draft.
I thought they made a trade.
I can't remember. I can't remember, which, it's hard for me to believe on that.
Mike, I can't believe.
Of course you can't believe it because you're part of the fraternity of people that, have a lot of honor. You don't want to see that.
They took Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss.
And what do you think his odds were?
To be the 16th player taken, he was supposed to be down in the 20s.
There you go. See, no, we won't get credit for this. There's some reporter right now that works for ESPN watching this show that we're breaking it down for him right off the top of my head. Why? Because I grew up on a street corner. There's no doubt. I never heard of that guy.
Walter Nolan was supposed to go between like 20 and 32, somewhere down in there.
And he went 60.
Because he had a shoulder injury. And by the way, he started the season for the Cardinals with a shoulder injury.
Okay, so if he had as bad as they play it out to be, he took him at 16 with a suspected shoulder, which is important for anybody in the game of football. And he took him maybe 16 places ahead of where he was supposed to go.
Wow.
So come on. Wow.
Mike, do you think that this is going to become a bigger issue when it comes to like more stuff going on?
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it. They're human beings. Men are human beings.
I think NFL games are manipulated gambling wise. Like we saw with Tim Donaghy in the NBA. Do you think that NFL games are on the up and up?
No. Not all of them. I think there's always a crooked ref. I always think that there's always been crook. I think I talked to Sammy Ball. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to go, who is Sammy Ball? Read up on him sometime. He played defensive back. He kicked, he punted. He did it all. He was in his 90s. I got a hold of his number, and he had a ranch, huge ranch that he bought off his so-called winnings in Texas, and it was thousands of acres. And I called him on my radio station, Sammy Ball.
Wow.
And I said, Mr. Ball, I have to ask you a question.
Shit.
There were rumors in the past, and I also read about some accounts of football being fixed back in the day. Did you ever throw a game? Did you ever fix a game? And he hesitated, and he goes, well, back then it wasn't really policed and everything else. And so he basically told me, now, if you look up Sammy Ball,
TCU.
They didn't make a lot of money back then, folks.
No.
And he ended up owning like a ranch like South Fork.
My uncle said the most he ever made was $16,000.
Right. So He was like a congressman when he got out.
And he's a Hall of Fame. He was a Hall of Fame player, an MVP of the league.
But here's what happened. There was no social media. So my producer at the time, Jesse Rogers from ESPN Radio, we called all the news services and we told them, and we played the tape for about 3 or 4 of them, including a friend of ours, Joe Musho, back in the day, who worked for AP. Nobody carried it. Nobody. The next day. Nobody ever carried it. And it was his voice, so I'm just telling you, it's been crooked for a long time. I think, and even if it isn't crooked, even that play in New Orleans versus the Rams, people took a bath. People took such a horrible bath.
Or the Vikings, the Vikings Saints game, that whole thing with the interception was like.
Oh, that's it. That's what I'm talking. Yeah. There was a couple bad ones.
Yeah.
And and I also heard you talking about your overrated coaches. I would go along without George Halas, there's no league, but he was an overrated coach. He had a guy named George Allen that ended up suing him to get out of his deal. He's the guy that constructed the 63 Bears.
Now, Mike, know this. I think that Halas was one of the most important figures in the history.
No doubt.
Okay.
I used to deliver his paper.
But oh, God damn, that's great. Listen, but for me, when I look at him, he had 2 parts of his career. When the NFL was in its infancy, then when he was also in the 50s, and then when he got into the 60s, when the game was evolving, he couldn't evolve.
But he won.
Yeah, but he didn't win enough when you had players like Butkus and Sayers.
No, you know what happened with him? He gave up that thing, and they had Jim Dooley and other people. But he is a GM, and his structure, you're right. It was he introduced some things. He introduced the game to us. I'll never forget. I'm delivering to Chicago.
Bobby Douglas should not have been a starting quarterback.
Well, today he would have been real good because
Bobby Douglas today may have been Jackson Dart.
That's right. I'm not kidding you. Better than Jackson Dart. If you ever want to see a tape of his runs of 1,000 yards almost in one season, and he would take late hits and everything. Now
he's another Kansas guy, right? I think he went.
Yeah, Kansas Jayhawk, and Bobby's a good guy. But George Halas, I delivered his paper, and he answered the door one time. I thought, you're like, holy,
Yeah.
So he was but George Allen should have been the Bears coach from 63 to. He should have never ended up in Washington and with the Rams. He should have been the Bear coach, but him and Halas had a riff, as Halas always did. He got his way, and he chased him off. Butkus had to sue for injuries because the doctor misdiagnosed him. So a lot of things happened. You're right, Sayers and Butkus, but they never filled the team around him for the most part.
I got to tell you this. So I had one of the coolest things, and when I was a really young kid, Robustelli took me to a golf event, and I got a chance to sit around, and it was an old timers. This was, God, I must have been a sophomore in high school. This is early 80s. And I'm sitting around, and he goes, now listen, I don't want you to go crazy when these 2 guys show up. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to see who Andy's going to introduce me to. It was always great when Robustelli introduced me. Here comes Butkus and Nitsky together.
Yeah.
And they're walking towards me. And when I'm a kid, I've got these posters.
Oh, that's the best.
I got the one poster with Butkus's hands bleeding. He's sitting on the bench. I got that in my room, right? I got Nitsky walking off the field with, blood coming off. And shit. And I'm going, these 2 guys come over and they start talking to me about, how the face of the leagues were the linebackers back in the day. And I forged a relationship with Dick. I used to get him on my program. His kid, Matthew, won the Butkus Award. And I vote on that thing. And I got a chance to become kind of close with Dick before he passed away.
He
sent me one of the coolest things, Mike. Just a great dude, man. I mean,
Dick and I
really enjoyed being around Dick Butkus.
Imagine me in 1967 in 8th grade in the stands, and then imagine me doing a 2-part TV show on CBS in the 90s as the host with Dick Butkus as my good friend and a guy we used to make kid because I was from the north side, he's from the south side. Dick Butkus is a legend in Chicago forever. He'll be forever known, and you can name all the linebackers you want. Somebody tells me Ray Lewis. I go, let me tell you about Ray Lewis. Great player. But he might not have been the best player on that defense because one of the great safeties, if not the greatest safety of all time, was Ed Reed. Ed Reed was one of the great safeties, and he was as good as oh yeah, there you go.
So he sent me this, and I've got this on my wall, and he goes like this. He goes, I'm gonna send you something. Give me your address. And so
with the long sleeve jersey too. Long sleeve jersey.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that's the white C. It is.
Oh, please don't make me look. The hair stood up on the back of my neck just now when you said the white C.
Go back to the white C.
You want to know something? You asked me which team I like better, besides the 85 Bears, of course. The 1-13 team is one of my favorites because all my Buffon, Butkus, Sayers, Dick Gordon, Bobby Douglas today would be Jackson Dart if a plus. Believe me, folks.
Yeah.
Watch film of him. Dan hit it right on the head. That's why we do what we do here. We don't just come up cockamamie.
Mike, I tell you what, you bring it every time, man.
I try.
Listen, and I can't thank you enough for doing this each and every single week.
I appreciate it, Danny.
Mike,
you know I love you.
You know I love you too, dude. And I'll tell you what, I will see you next week. Make sure you check out Mike. Tell them where they can find you.
Find me at North to North, NORTH, number 2, NORTH.com. We also have a show called Somebody Big Just Died about major personalities. We don't give you the 2-minute deal you get out of the newspaper. We give you a half hour, the good, the bad, the ugly. We just did a show on Lindsey Graham, the senator who just passed away at 71. A great man. My wife even liked, she never talks politics, but she goes, he's only worth $1.5 million after 30 years of service. That's a good man, she said, because she knows what everybody else is. We also have my ESPN show on Twitter right now. And tomorrow it will be on ESPN 1000 called The Odds Couple for Gambling. And I'm out of here. And I do the Big Sil show every week at 3:30, ladies and gentlemen. After Zander, who's been married he's been married 2 weeks. He looks like a coal miner right now. He looks like an old prospector right now. It takes time. All right.
Absolutely. Mike, I appreciate you. See you next week, Mike.
All right, buddy. Take care.
You got it. That is the great Mike North. Absolutely. Yeah. Hey, 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central Time. He's in Chicago, obviously. Yeah, I got a chance to meet Butkus and Nitsky and Chuck Bednarik. And boy, I met Chuck Bednarik and Dick Butkus were really good friends. And every time I would see those two guys together, and every time Concrete would come on my show, when I did my Tampa show the first time years ago, Concrete would come on my program. Man, he had no filter. He was just such a great guest. He talked shit on everybody, man. All right, let me pay some bills here. Our great friends at Morgan & Morgan, the number one injury law firm in all of America for a reason. Don't forget, also, we have the legendary Philly Godfather joining us. But our great friends at Morgan & Morgan, the number one injury law firm in all of America for a reason. It's because they win. With over $20 billion recovered, make no mistake about it. It is the number one injury law firm in America for a reason. Tell you about the family in Pennsylvania that was initially offered $650K. They got nearly $30 million in settlement. Or the family in Florida that was offered $350,000. They got nearly $12 million in settlement. Go to forthepeople.com/Big Sills or Pound Love 529. That's forthepeople.com/Big Sills or Pound Love 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sills sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
had work done on her face? Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Legendary Philly Godfather will join us. We will talk with him in a couple minutes here, too, by the way. I brought this up to Zander earlier, and I want to do it again here. When are you going to find out how good the defense is going to be on the Eagles this coming year? I think that's all determined on what the offense does. Vic, last year, Zander asked me a question. Did I think that how good was the defense a year ago? Was it a top 10 defense last year? I thought for a stretch, and I'll tell you when. I think for a stretch that the Eagles were a top 10 defense was, I'll show you where. We go down to what they did. I think they played like a top 10 defense. From this time, they weren't all year. I think from Green Bay, Detroit, that time frame in there was their best efforts. Like from Minnesota, New York to Green Bay and Detroit. I thought it was a top 10 defense from October 19th until November 16th. Then after that, they got ran over by Chicago. They gave up the big comeback to the Cowboys. They played pretty good against the Bills. You hold the Bills to 12 points, that's a heck of an effort. That's a heck of an effort when you're holding the Bills to 13 points in Buffalo on the road. Their best defensive efforts, in my opinion, were, I didn't mind that effort giving up only 21 to Denver. I mean, Denver did put 358 on them. And Denver had 4.5 a carry. That wasn't a very good effort. 4.5 yards a carry on 30 carries. Possession was on the side of, obviously, when you run the ball like that. So I didn't think they were a top 10 defense the whole year. I thought they were a top 10 defense for about 4 games. And then I think at the end of the season, I think they got worn out because the offense was a turnover machine. And I mean turning the possessions over, 3 and out, 3 and out. Like I said, from about October 19th until November 16th, I thought they were a top 10 team or a top 10 unit. Those 4 straight wins in the middle of the year. And then after that, from November 23rd until January 4th, I didn't think they were a top, or actually until January 11th. I didn't think they were a top 10 defensive football team. Top 15, probably. But from October 19th until November 16th, when they beat Detroit and Green Bay and only giving up 16 points in 2 games, that's when they were at their best. That's when they were playing as good a defense. Let's see here. West Coast defense. He couldn't get over the, let's see here. Let's see here. Yeah, no. We'll see this year because it's all going to be determined on what the offense does. Defense was getting gassed. They were consistently having to get back on the field. Yeah, that's what it was, the Chip Kelly effect, Coyote. Remember when Chip got out to a nice start in his first 2 years, right? So he gets out to a really good start, and then what happened? Well, you only have 53 men on your roster. So this defense is always measured based on the front 4. Can the stop the run, and can they consistently get home without adding an extra 5th guy? Yeah, that's correct. I don't believe they're that good in stopping the run. Now, and I don't know what they've done to improve it. Now, does Campbell become a better run stopper than Nakobe Dean? Oh, and by the way, I think putting Cooper DeJean at safety and base, I think that helps your run defense. I do. I think that helps your run defense when you do that. All right. I'll tell you what, man. We haven't talked to our friend in a while. He's a big movie star now. So what we got to do now is we got to go through CAA or William Morris now. And we got to I got a bunch of people I got to go through. They said, you call to my guy. Then my guy talks to his guy. Then he talks to his guy. And before you know it, we get on a schedule here now because Philly Godfather, man. Like I said, I got to go through William Morris. The book's big now. Everything here. Here we go. Got it next to me always. He thinks I don't, but I do. And here's my boy here, Philly Godfather. How you doing, brother?
Good, man. You don't got to go through CAA. Just go see Tony Dogs at 19th and Market. He's got a little food truck right there. You don't got to do that. He'll call me right up.
I got you, man. How's it been going, man? I mean, obviously a lot on your plate now, though, dude. How's it been? How's the tour going and everything?
It's been a fun ride. We got another book signing on Sunday at Butcher Bar in fancy Rittenhouse Square part of Philadelphia. All the uppities. That should be fun. My son's 32nd birthday is tomorrow, so we're going to have a fun time with that. It's just been a hell of a ride, shooting up to Cape Cod, probably Monday for a couple of days up there. There's an Italian restaurant. It's called Buca's. If you're ever up that way, it's my favorite Italian restaurant in the whole country. In-house pasta, in-house desserts. They got the freshest seafood. The food, guy's straight from Italy. I mean, barely speaks any English. Just the nicest guy in the world. They got the best wine selection. Buca's up there in Cape Cod, one of my favorites. But, yeah, it's been fun, Dan. It's been fun.
I think they, if I'm not mistaken, they got scungil up there too, dog. There's scungil salad in that place too, because I know that place, man. That's an excellent seafood place up there. God, all those places are so good during this time of the year, are they not? I mean, I love going up there, right?
Freshest catch, freshest seafood, and the way they make their in-house pasta and the desserts, and they got the affogato with the coffee and the ice cream. It's just everything is, you order something, you're like, wow, that was delicious. Then they bring out another thing, and you're like, wow, it's even better. And it just gets better and better and better. Next thing you know, you drank a couple bottles of wine, you had some great food, great dessert, and it's just a great time.
Hey, tell me how has it been going around and talking to some of the guys that have been incarcerated a little bit? How's that tour gone, and what have you learned from that? And what do they look at with, the book and some of the things that you're talking to them about through your personal experiences?
Well, first off, a lot of them go in there thinking this is all a bunch of crap. This guy's not for real. And then as I start talking and I start speaking, and they see, oh, he's not from Harvard. He didn't go to Penn. He's a street guy. And then they get more comfortable and they start asking a lot of questions. How'd you overcome this and overcome that?
Were you nervous?
Not really. I was a little nervous. They might keep me longer than I wanted. Maybe I got some open detainees, open warrants I didn't know about. They ended up keeping me there from like 20 years ago. But thank God the statute of limitations ran out on everything, so I'm safe. It's just, it brings back memories. It brings back, like, I tried to go in and I had a zipper on my shirt. And they're like, no, you can't have a zipper on your shirt. So I had to go change my shirt. And you forget little things like that. And, it just brought back a lot of memories. Some were okay. The camaraderie, people, I ended up being friends with that I was locked up with. But some difficult times, some dark times. And I was in a much, tougher prison than the ones I visited. I'm not sure I would go to a Supermax prison and talk to those guys where I was at. But who knows? I mean, they respect you. They know you've been through it. They know that you're the real deal and you've suffered like they're suffering. And you give them some hope. And that's all I can do. And I don't try to I don't critique them. I don't try to tell them what to do. I just tell them what I did, and hopefully they can pick up on it and it changes their lives.
For me, going into a place like that, having been in a place like that, not knowing what my tomorrow was, it would remind me about how my freedom is really one of the most important things that we take for granted. Americans take that for granted so much. Yeah. Like you just said, a littlest thing about like a zipper. Yeah. I mean, or maybe just putting your shoes in a particular place, or how you do your bed in your place. I mean, all of that, you forget that. I wonder if that brought you back a little bit too. And because remember something, you had the most important thing taken from you. That was your freedom.
Yeah. Well, number one's your health, and then it's your freedom, right? And then it's your family. So I had, other than my health, I mean, it was my freedom, my family, and it plays tricks with you, man. You got to be mentally strong. I had to learn how to do time. And I tell people all the time, like when I first went in there, I had done a previous bet 97, only a couple of months. But this time I had to learn how to do some serious time. I didn't know how long I was going to be there. I didn't know I was going to overturn my conviction, win my appeal 2 years later. So what I did is what I do best. I analytically broke down 24 hours in a day. I made 24 boxes, checked 8 off for sleeping, 2 off for, poetry, an hour for artwork, 2 hours for reading, 6 hours for working out. And you just keep checking off the boxes every day. And it gets easier and easier because time is the devil's advocate, right? Like if you're not staying busy in there with your mind and with your body, you start going into rabbit holes and you go into dark places. And you got to remember, I didn't know when I was coming home if I even made it out of there alive. I was at a Supermax prison. I was in with all lifers and mass murderers. And the guy sleeping next to me was John Duty. Google John Duty. Got 280 years for killing 8 people. So nicest guy in the world. So I don't know whether I was coming home in a box.
So you're in the mess hall with that guy, right? You're in.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're eating chow. We were on 23-hour lockdown. We had an hour a day a yard. This was at Cheyenne unit. Dakota unit was even more stringent, which I was there for a month. That was a 4-yard. Cheyenne was a 3-yard. That was max prison as well. Controlled movement, 23-hour lockdown. I got 4 phone calls a week, and you had to put in for them. You weren't always approved for them. So if I called my wife and she was pissed off at me that day, she hung up. I got 3 left. And I'm like, oh, man, who am I going to call next? You know what I mean? And then you would call people up, and they would start telling you their problems. And I'm thinking, I'm in prison. I want to hear happy things. I don't want to hear your problems. I got issues. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you got to be mentally strong. You got to learn how to do time. You can never surrender. You got to keep swinging. And you got to stay busy, you know. And working out is a big, major part of it. Yeah, thank God I had a strong family core, friends. I got letters every day. I think I told you a story about the letters. You know, I was the only one getting 10, 15 letters a day. And then at first I didn't think anything of it, but then I saw people, you know, I saw some animosity because they didn't have that kind of love and support. So now I'm thinking to myself, I'm pissing off all these killers. How do I flip the script and make them happy? So I started giving them free food. Like I would make them sandwiches and come on over. Next thing you know, they weren't worried about all the letters no more. But a little thing like that could trigger one of these guys to stab you in the neck when you're sleeping, stab you in the back, you know, just because they don't have that. And jealousy and animosity, you got to be careful. You got to read the room, just like anywhere else, just like in business, you know, in life, you got to be able to read the room. And if I didn't pick up on it quickly, who knows what would have happened? You know, a little argument could have escalated into something major. And they don't care. It's just another body. You know, they got double life, give them a triple life. What do they care? They'll stab you in the head. Where I was trying to get the hell out of there. So, yeah, it reminds you of a lot of things. When you're talking.
I'll tell you what you just said reminded me of my little bit, you know, being around like mob guys. There's no sense of humor with these dudes. And I'm assuming that what you're saying there too, because you play around with a guy, even moving a guy's pen on his desk, clicking it like that may aggravate that guy to put that pen in the back of your neck. And, you know, I thought I was joking with a couple of these guys. The guys goes like, just like that scene out of Goodfellas. He's like, what's so funny to you? What, how am I making you laugh? I'm like, hey, look in here, man. I was just trying to, he goes, don't think I'm a chump or something. And you're like, holy shit.
That's
These
real.
guys have no sense of humor whatsoever.
I'll give you an example. When I came home, you know, I used to have a beer distributor in the city, and that's where I met Allen Iverson, because when he first came to Philly, he moved into Franklintown Apartments, which was two buildings down. And he would stop by every, you know, like 2-3 times a week with his uncle Greg and his cousin Anthony. They pick up a case of Corona. But I had hired a couple friends that I knew that just came out of prison. And one day, you know, we were busy, and I was taking orders, and I ended up taking his envelope, and I started writing down an order on it. And I looked at him, and he was fuming mad because he had just come out of prison. It was his envelope. He still had that prison mentality. And his name was Chin. I said, Chin, listen, dude. I said, I'll buy you a box of envelopes. Don't worry about the freaking envelope. Like, let that prison, you know, mentality go. Like, yeah, this ain't, we're not locked up. We're out. You're free. I got you covered. I gave you a job. But he almost wanted to fight me over an envelope. And we were out on the street, and he had just come home. So that stuff's real. It's in their head. You know?
I got to read you this, dude. This just came down. National Football League has suspended Arizona Cardinals Director of College Personnel Ryan Gold indefinitely for violating the league's gambling policy. The league said today that it's investigating, and the investigation determined that Gold provided confidential, non-public inside information regarding the 2026 NFL draft selections by the Cardinals before the picks were announced, and that Gold also participated in parlay bets on NFL and college games. The league didn't say to whom, but he was giving inside information out prior to the picks that were being made by the Arizona Cardinals. The gambling policy, which is annually reviewed with the NFL personnel, strictly prohibits anybody in the NFL from participating in or facilitating any form of gambling bets. This is an executive. This ain't a kid now. This is now a dude in the front office now. How do you know he's not going through the regular season going, hey, make a bet here. Marvin Harrison is not going to play this week. Put $100,000 down on the Cardinals offense not to score. Because to me, am I right when I say this? The easiest thing to bet on are the prop bets. And it's not really the game, because if Marvin Harrison is not said to play, I'm going to bet Marvin Harrison $100,000 to not and be under. Well, when I find out he's not playing, I'm winning that.
Yeah. Well, he's got to start. But and it's funny you bring up Marvin Harrison.
He has to start.
Yeah,
he has to. Okay.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up Marvin Harrison. But if he's not playing and no one knows about it, then you can get down before. Like Marvin Harrison owns the bar next to I had a bar in Philly. I still own the property, and he owns the bar right next to me. Me and Marvin are friends, the father.
Well, his dad. Yeah, his dad. I know is a big Philly guy.
Yeah, I know his dad for 40 years. Nicest guy in the world. And it's funny when he got in trouble with, they were allegedly a shootout or something. On the news, they were showing my bar because my bar was the corner bar and his was next to mine. He owned Playmakers and I owned 28th Street Lounge. But to make a long story short, he came home on a Monday, I remember. He was playing for the Colts and he had a cast on his arm. I see him, I'm like, Marv, you all right? He's like, nah, I'm going to be out for 2 to 3 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks. I said, damn, that sucks, Marv. So I go in, I start checking. No one knew about it, that he was injured. So it's not like he gave me any information, but I saw it visually. I knew he wasn't playing. He told me he wasn't playing. He didn't know I was a gambler. And I bet against him that week, And that's how you can make some money. Now, but I think the news came out on Thursday that week. I knew about it on Monday. And that's when he was tearing up the league. Jerry Rice numbers. It was Jerry Rice and Marvin Harrison. Peyton was, I think it might have been his second or third year in the league. I forgot what it was. But, that type of information is gold. Any information that's not factored into the point spread can make you a lot of money. And back then, it was easier to get down. There was no parameters set up with these, U.S. sports books. I can call offshore. I can get down the street. And no one would know about what I'm betting. Now, you bet with DraftKings. You bet with FanDuel. I mean, they don't let me bet anyway, big numbers, but if you're just an average guy and you go to bet and your average bet's $100 a game, now you want to put down 5 or 10,000, well, red flag is going to pop up. And then if they see an accumulation of those bets being made on the same prop bet or the same type of bet, well, then red flags go off, and then they contact the feds, and then they start an in-house investigation.
They watch betting behavior.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's kind of like Kalshi with the teleprompter guy with Trump. I mean, this guy's been with Trump since 2016. He knew what he was going to say. He went into Kalshi, and I forget what it's called. I think it's called the means market. And he started betting what Trump would say during his speech. Won $100,000. Kalshi caught it. They only paid out $10,000 out of the $100,000. They flagged it, shut the account down. They contacted the feds or the people that regulate the like the stock market. I forget what it's called because it is a predictive market, Kalshi. And now he's going to get jammed up. So information that's not factored into point spread. It depends how you get it. But with all the U.S. sports books, they can identify that stuff so fast. They got AI software to detect all that stuff. They just start connecting all the dots. If you're smart and you have information, you bet it in the street, you bet it offshore, you bet it where no one knows about it, and you can't get greedy because if you try and bet too much, they're going to catch you. So it's not like it used to be.
So FanDuel and DraftKings are probably the worst places to bet because those places are the places that monitor your behavior, how much money you put down. All of a sudden, you're betting on Conor McGregor for, a fight. All of a sudden, he goes out in the first 10 seconds of that fight, and you see $300,000 being put down. And all of a sudden, I mean, people were running to the gates for Max Holloway prior because some people heard and thought that they had known that he had a hurt knee. Yeah. And there was a guy who put $300,000 down on Max Holloway and saying that Conor wasn't going to get out of the first round of that fight this past Saturday. Turned out to be that guy got flagged for that.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, other guys were betting Holloway just because McGregor hadn't won a fight in 6 years. So, it's you got to really differentiate, and it's hard for the sports books, so they're just going to shut everyone down, and they don't want to pay anyway. You give them any reason, they're not going to pay you, whether you were legit betting the game or whether you got lucky or whether you got information. So the bookmakers are not your friends. Like if they can bankrupt you, they're going to bankrupt you. You see Leonard Toes, guys lose millions and millions of dollars, their lives, their careers, their businesses. But again, if you give them a reason, they're not going to pay you. So another thing is people want to take a bite of that forbidden apple, right? Like everyone wants to do something that's, and you get jammed. It's not worth it. It really ain't worth it. My best friend, Jimmy Batista, is paying off Timmy. I mean, And I kept telling him, what are you doing? Like, you don't need this. We win anyway. You just win at a higher rate, but, we win. We don't need. And, people get greedy, man. That's what happens.
No doubt, especially in that business. So let me ask you about A.J. Brown, the difference that you think. What do you think the difference in New England? Do you think New England is a Super Bowl contender with A.J.? And do you think and have the odds drop for the Eagles on being a Super Bowl contender, not having A.J.?
Yeah, the Eagles' odds are still the same. Probably fourth or fifth best team in the league. When you look at the odds, predictive season win totals, set on them for them to win the division. Still the odds on favor NFC East. A.J. Brown, he's going to a pass-heavy team, which should benefit him, his numbers, his stats. That's what he wants. Patriots, Super Bowl hangover, that's real. I don't care what anybody says. So that's an issue. Patriots last year were one of the luckiest teams in the NFL when it came to luck ratio. They got exposed in the Super Bowl. They got blown out. The ball bounced their way through the playoffs. Guys getting hurt. Quarterback for the Broncos. So everything went their way last year in order for them to get there. And then you got the issues with the coach, with all the nonsense off the field with what's that lady's name? Rossini, whatever her name is. So
Diana Rossini.
Yeah, that could be an issue in the locker room. You don't know. But at the end of the day, it's a football team. It's a football locker room. So I don't think that's going to bother them as much because Vrabel is a great coach. I think he's one of the better coaches in the NFL. I think they got really lucky last year. I don't think they win more than 10 games. I think the Bills are the better team. If they do, they're going to have to get lucky again. And we've talked about it before. The difference between a 7-win team and a 10-win team is so minute. A couple of turnovers, a couple of plays. Teams that win 13 or 14, 15 games, they're the real juggernauts. Unless a team that won 10 games had a bunch of injuries and then it came on strong at the end, like the Giants who won a couple of Super Bowls that way against the Patriots. But, the Patriots are still going to be a good team. I mean, they're a great organization. Their offensive line, not one of the better ones in the NFL. I'm a firm believer you need a strong offensive line, defensive line to win a Super Bowl unless you get lucky, So I'm not big on the Patriots this year.
Let me ask you about a couple teams. Then, Garrett. 11 days out to training camp right now. Next week or 11 days, the Eagles go to training camp. Today, actually, the 49ers reported yesterday, the Seahawks, they reported. Are you high on the Bills this year?
I'm high on them every year, but it's amazing what happens to that team. So many injuries. So, their offensive line gets decimated, defensive line. And you got Josh Allen that can fight through all that stuff. And he didn't play the best in the playoffs last year, but he's an amazing quarterback. And his window is closing now. They really got to do it, in the next 2 years, or you don't know what's going to happen. But he's a big, strong guy. I think the Bills do win that division. I like him again. I think they got the second or third best odds to win the Super Bowl again this year. You got Josh Allen; he can beat anybody. But when you get bombarded with injuries each and every year on your defensive line, on your offensive line, at key positions that matter, it's hard to win the Super Bowl. I mean, the one year they had like 15 guys off a Home Depot parking lot playing defense in the playoffs, and they still almost won. So that's how good Josh Allen is. Who you higher on in the AFC North, Baltimore or Cincinnati? No, I like the Bengals. I bet the Bengals to win the division plus 200. Better to win the Super Bowl at 22-1, 20-1. Better win the AFC at, I think it was like 11-1. Wow. They're going to be favored in 15 to 17 games this season. Their defensive line is supposed to be top 10. It's probably going to be top 5. Because of Dexter Lawrence, that them adding him made you stronger. We got to remember, Joe Burrow has the capacity to beat any team with the worst offensive line in football. So you give him something. Just give him something. Like that one year when he went to the Super Bowl, he got sacked 72 times. I forget what it was. It was some crazy number. Worst offensive line in history. And he was a minute away from winning the Super Bowl. That's how good Joe Burrow is. So you got to keep him upright, keep him healthy. And I think the offensive line got better. If they could just be average, if the offensive line can just be average and the defensive line can play where they're projected to be, top 5, top 10, well, you got a Super Bowl type of team. And the fact that they have an easier strength of schedule, and to me, I think he's the best quarterback in the NFL. I love Patrick Mahomes. It's neck and neck with those two guys. But I'd rather have Joe Burrow on my team as a quarterback than any other quarterback in the league. In the South, Jags, Texans, or Colts? Who do you like in that one there? Who are you favoring if you were to pick a team on that division? I'm big on defense. The Texans are hard to beat. I mean, if they can secure that offensive line and
Colts might be the more balanced team of the both.
and they looked a lot better early in the year last year. Before,
when they had
I think they lost some guys on their offensive line though. The Colts.
Yep.
They did have a top 5 offensive line, so that scares me a little bit.
Yep.
But who's got a better defense than that Texans team?
No one.
Nobody. So as long as CJ Stroud don't turn the ball over 5 times and they don't sack him 7 times in the game, it's a no-brainer. That's probably the team that's going to win the division. The Colts can definitely win it. The Jags, man, I was big on them last year. Had them winning the division, had them going a little deeper in the playoffs. Good quarterback, I like him and then I hate him. So I think it's the Texans and then the Colts are right behind them. But their offensive line scares me about the Colts.
I'll tell you, this West, I don't know what the Raiders are going to do with Fernando Mendoza. I mean, the Clint Kubiak's there now. So I'll just ask you these 3. Boy, Broncos, Chargers, and Chiefs. And before you answer, my preseason MVP is Justin Herbert. I really like that Chargers team, but Chiefs, obviously, I believe they bounce back. But, man, I just don't see a lot of guys on offense. But you have Mahomes. And then there's Denver, who probably has the best roster of all the teams in the West. Who do you like on that one?
It's tough. I mean, the Broncos definitely have the best defense. Chargers aren't too far behind. Mahomes, better than Justin Herbert, but Justin Herbert's great. Justin Herbert he's in position to have a great season. Give Harbaugh another year with that team. Great running team. Again, injuries have plagued the Chargers. They're like the Bills, man. Something always happens. I could see Justin Herbert winning the MVP. He's got weapons. Offensive line is strong as long as they're healthy. Defense is strong. Coaching matters, especially in the playoffs, deep in the season. Chiefs, they're healthy. Mahomes, Andy Reid, Spags, they got something to prove now. Now they're hungry again. Now that's a dangerous animal when it's hungry.
They were 1-7 on the road last year.
Yeah. So if I had it, I would say the Chargers win the division, and then the Chiefs and the Broncos.
In the NFC East, Cowboys, Eagles, Commanders. Who wins the East? I got the Cowboys.
You get 2-1 on your money on a coin flip. I don't think the Eagles are that much better than the Cowboys this season.
I don't either.
I mean, Cowboys have the better quarterback, even though I love Jalen Hurts, and he might be a better football player than Dak, but, throwing the ball, Dak's the better passer.
They got a better offense.
Got a better, way better. Who scored more points than the Cowboys last year? I don't know if anyone
Cowboys
did.
have the best offense in football.
Yeah, so you get 2-1 on your money. How do you not bet the Cowboys? I'm not trying to piss off the Eagles fans. And I hope the Eagles win the division. A lot of stuff. You got who's Jalen Hurts going to pass the ball to other than Devontae Smith?
A bunch of dudes.
Yeah, and their offensive lines are getting older. I mean, Lane Johnson gets banged up for 5-6 games. Well, you're going to lose 4 or 5 of them if he's not in the lineup. He's getting older. They've had some injuries over the last few years on their offensive line. I mean, a lot of teams do, but it seems like the Eagles have more than others. They're top heavy with Lane Johnson on that line. If something happens to him, you got some serious issues. So you get me 2-1. I guess the Cowboys. I mean, the Commanders are going to be healthy this year. The Giants, they're a wild card. You got a great head coach, good defense. You got a stud young quarterback. You got a great running game. Offensive line is still a little shaky, but it's not going to be a cakewalk for the Eagles. And if you're laying a number on the Eagles, I wouldn't. I would take the dog. I would take 2-1 on the Cowboys to win the division. I mean, they won it 2 years ago. Why can't they win it again when we bet them, when we gave it out on the show?
The North had all their teams finish above 500, which is crazy. I could see the Bears finishing in last and the Lions finishing in first place. As a matter of fact, if I had to pick a team to win the NFC North, I'm going to pick the Lions. Who do you like in this division?
Yeah, I mean, the Lions are strong. Their coach, ever since Ben Johnson left, he hasn't made, a lot of great decisions on the football field.
Agreed.
Yeah, so that kind of scares me a little bit. And he's I think he hurts that team. I was big on him. And then after last season, I'm like, wait a second, was that all Ben Johnson? Now, obviously, it wasn't all Ben Johnson, but a lot of it was. Packers are strong, man. If they're healthy, they're getting some guys back later, after like the 4th or 5th week. And you got to remember the first 3 games of the season are the most important game. If you start off 3-0, you make the playoffs 75% of the time. So with the Packers not being 100% healthy, if the Lions start off 3-0, but they all got tough schedules. It's not like everyone's got a cakewalk. And listen, the Bears, they might have been lucky last year. They might have had a soft schedule, but guess what? Their defense was one of the most injured in the NFL last season. So if they come in healthy, they might surprise a lot of people on the defensive side of the football. And if Caleb Williams can recreate all that magic from last year, I'm like, who was more clutch than him last season? It was amazing. And he should have won the playoff game. I mean, the Bears could have been in the Super Bowl, and we had him at 40-1. If you remember, I gave him that before the season started last season. So it's going to be close. I think injuries are going to decide who wins that division. What was it, a couple of years ago when we had the Lions to win it all, and they got decimated with injuries, and they played, I think, the Eagles in the playoffs, and they got smoked. I forget the Commanders. I forget who it was. Yeah, injury. I mean, the injuries are so big. So, but anyone can win that division. It could be the line. I mean, Minnesota's got a great defense. You're getting a big number with Minnesota. They could surprise some people. So that division, I wouldn't look to bet it. I think the strongest team in that division when they're fully healthy are the Packers.
Yeah, I see this. The South here, Carolina ended up making it to the postseason with an under 500 record at 8-9. Bucks had a lot of injuries in the offense. They got a brand new coordinator in there, and Zach Robinson. I think the Falcons getting a good coach, Kevin Stefanski. Tua probably wins that job over Michael Penix. And then, dude, the Saints. I mean, I really like what Kellen Moore has done with that team. I could see them making, especially with the last place schedule, I could see them like improving a lot. Is that the Bucks division in your opinion, the South?
It's tough. I mean, Carolina, even 2 years ago when Carolina didn't have a good record, they were close.
Carolina's got a damn good roster.
And last year they played everyone tough, and to see them fall, but Tampa Bay was banged up last season. You got Shake and Bake there who's been playing lights out. You lost some offensive weapons with Tampa Bay.
Right, Evans is gone. Mike Evans is now in San Francisco.
Yeah, so Atlanta's going to be better. You got a big number with Atlanta. And honestly, I think it's a coin flip between those 3 teams. Yeah, you get plus 4-1 on your money on the Falcons to win the division. How do you walk away from that? It's so
I take that.
Yeah, that's, it's all about pricing. It's not, when people talk to me, okay, well, yeah, I can tell you who's going to win, but who's going to cover the spread? And it's all about the price. You give me 4-1 on a coin flip, I'm going to take it every time because if we flip a coin flip 50 times, it's going to end up 25 and 25. I'm getting 4-1 on my money. I'm going to turn a profit. And that's what sports betting is all about. So I would take the Falcons.
Last one here. Boy, what a division here. Seahawks, Rams, 49ers. And by the way, all 3 of these teams, I think, could make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, and, you're going to get a healthier Purdy. You got the Rams. They've added Trent McDuffie and Myles Garrett. The Seahawks are the defending champs. They lose Clint Kubiak, and they lose Kenny Walker.
That's big.
It is, especially when you're talking about a ball-controlled football team losing one of their top backs. I mean, Rams division, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think so. It's either Rams or 49ers, and Seahawks are really good. But, when it comes to futures, if a team wins a Super Bowl, I just cross them off the list for next year because it's so hard to repeat. I mean, when's the last time a team repeated the Super Bowl? Yeah, it's not easy. It doesn't happen often. So I don't think the Seahawks can win the Super Bowl this year. Rams are built. They might be the best team in football. Stafford, he could win the MVP, if he's healthy. 49ers always banged up, but somehow they find a way to win 10, 11 games and make the playoffs and come into Philly and beat us, 7-point underdogs. If they can stay healthy, and I don't know if that stuff's true about the park and the electric lines and all that stuff. Scientists got to figure that stuff out, but if that really bangs you up and tears your tendons up, but it's probably the Rams or the 49ers.
All right, now the Phillies. Do you have them with it? Okay, now listen here. They got a chance. They're 2.5 back of Atlanta, and when Don Mattingly took that team over, they were in the gutter here.
9-19.
Do they run Atlanta down, or do they make it? And do they give the Dodgers a push for their money in the postseason?
I mean, the Braves on paper still have the better start pitching, the better bullpen. Phillies have the better offense. Like you said, they're 2.5 games out. I mean, they start off 9-19. I think under Mattingly, they're 45-24. So don't tell me that wasn't an upgrade over Thompson. I mean, so whatever he's doing is working. Man. The only problem is the Phillies have one of the tougher remaining strength of schedules, I think, off the top of my head. That's going to be a little tough down the stretch. They can win that division because the Marlins don't scare me. Their offense stinks. If the Phillies can go, you know what the Phillies should do? Go to the Angels, pick up that pitcher Detmer and Mike Trout. They need a right-handed hitter. They need a pitcher. Then go get like another closer or middle reliever. And guess what? You might win the whole thing. Yeah. So if you guys are listening, go get Mike Trout. The whole city's going to be loving you. And he's a great at-bat. And go get that pitcher. And guess what? You might pencil yourself in the World Series. But I don't know if you can beat the Dodgers still.
LeBron James.
Oh, God.
Cavs, Sixers, or Heat?
Well, if you look at his history tells you he wants to come to Philly. Right? He wants to win another ring. Right? Philly's built.
Kobe's backyard, too.
They're back to 20-1. They're down to 20-1 odds to win it all. I think their season win total is at 48.5. You got the Celtics ahead of them. You got the Knicks. You got OKC. I mean, the Sixers might have like the 5th best odds to win it all. I forget. I got to check. But, man, if he wants to win another ring, and why is he playing? He's 41 years old, and he still plays hard. And I mean,
plus they made the deal with Jalen Brown now, so you put him in that lineup.
Yeah, I mean, he averaged 23 points in the playoffs. 7 rebounds, 6. So he can still play.
Beat the Rockets,
baby. And I talk a lot of smack about him, and MJ's still the greatest. I think Kobe's better, but I mean, LeBron James is he's one of the best ever. I think he wants to come to Philly. I think he wants to win another ring to try to his legacy. Does it happen? I don't know. Do we want him here? He will make the team better. The odds will drop. They'll probably go from 20-1 to 15-10-1 if he does come to Philly because he can still play, and his basketball IQ is one of the best I've seen in NBA history. I mean, he's a smart basketball player. He makes other players better, and at this age, the way he's been playing, he's a great facilitator. He helps other players on the team play better. Still can't shoot foul shots, but I would love to have him on the team, and I think if he does come here, the Sixers can win a championship.
I was going to ask you the question, how come the Greeks don't have a good soccer team? And then I realized my Italians didn't even qualify for the World Cup, and we got 4 of those bad puppies. So I was going to kind of rip you. Then I went, hang on here for a second. The Italians didn't even qualify for the World Cup. So, all right, I do have to ask you because I'm sure you got a line on it. Who do you got tomorrow, Spain or Argentina? Does Messi really win another one? Does he go back-to-back? And Jesus Christ, you talk about a GOAT conversation.
I know.
He puts that thing to bed.
That one kick the other day, the dude headbutted it in. It was like Tom Brady threading a needle right down the middle. Like,
with his foot.
Yeah, and I'm not the biggest soccer fan, but I was like, wow, look at that. Like, who can do that?
I know.
If he can beat this Spain team, I mean, they're underdogs. I think Spain's like -150 favorite. He's the GOAT of GOATs, and he's up there with Tom Brady, and he's up there with Michael Jordan, and he's up there with Dan Sileo. But it's going to be tough. Spain's real stingy. Their defense is strong. I think they've only given up 1 or 2 goals the whole World Cup. Like, how do you score on that team? They check off more boxes. If you look at all, I'm not a soccer handicapper, but if you look at, all the stuff that soccer handicappers look at, Spain checks off more boxes. But like you said, the great ones find a way. And I would love to see him shock Spain. I don't think it happens. I think Spain's the better team. But, Spain's not that big of a favorite. -150. Implied probability, 55%, whatever it is, 56%. There's a shot. He's got a shot.
He absolutely does. Make sure you guys check out the Bible on how to straighten your life out.
I don't know about all that.
My friend, I love when you come on. We hadn't talked in a while. That's why I kept you a little longer. I appreciate you. By the way, tell everybody where your next book signing is.
Yeah, this Sunday at Butcher Bar in Rittenhouse Square. I think it's 20th and Chestnut in Philly. And you can go to phillygodfather.com. You can follow me on Twitter at phillygodfather. The book, you can pick up a signed copy at phillybooked.com, or if you want to go to Amazon, ship to order, be out the next day. Barnes & Noble, #1 on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. It's surreal, man.
You got it. My friend, we will catch you again. Thank you so much.
Good luck, guys.
You got it. That is the legendary Philly Godfather. Guys, we're 11 days out, and gals, from the start of training camp. Next week, we're going to be full bore going into the start of the NFL season. I mean, teams are getting ready to go to camp. Some are already in camp. Have yourselves a great weekend. 2 to 6 on Monday, and we will see you on the flip side.